All right, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday night edition to the MURF and EDUBBS Sports Talk Show, episode 11. We are live tonight. My man EDUBBS, are you there with me, pal?
I am here. You hear me, Murph?
I could hear you, buddy, loud and clear.
Wow. Live radio, huh?
Hey, listen, you never know, man. We might be able to take over. I hear those two guys in the morning, Boomer and Gio. I hear those guys sometimes. Those guys are boring, bro. So I don't know. I think we might be able to do something. But anyway, how you doing, my friend? How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good, Rich. I just want to bring up this is our celebrity fandom. I mean, I never told you, but I've been on the news twice. I was on the news in 1994 at Yankee Stadium when the players went on strike, and I had a pocket full of Jets tickets because I was a Jets season ticket holder back then. I lived in Jersey, and I liked to watch the games, and they were cheap. It was only like $25 a game. So I had football tickets, and I said, who cares about baseball? And I had my football tickets up. And then in 2004, during the Yankees-Red Sox, remember the Yankees were up 3-0, and the Red Sox came back and
one of my favorite documentaries.
Yeah. I know. So on the day of Game 7, I went to Babe Ruth's grave, which just happens to be around the block from where I work, and CBS News was there. Tony Aiello, who's still with CBS, and he interviewed me while I was there. There was a bunch of people there, and we were trying to keep the curse of Babe Ruth alive. So we know what happened that night. So EDUBBS going to the gravesite. The Jewish guy in the Catholic cemetery didn't help much, but you know.
Listen, wait a second. You just rewind for a second. You just mentioned what you just mentioned before. You mentioned with that 2003 series, right? With the Yankees
2004.
Mm-hmm. Now this guy tonight in Houston. I mean, if he does something again tonight, you think he could be like the modern day Big Papi, this Alvarez guy? That home run he hit the other night was huge.
I think he's over 4 today, Rich. I think Seattle's got them in check. This game's in extra innings.
I know.
It's 0-0. You believe that? It's like kind of like the Guardians game last weekend. Remember, it was 0-0 and it went like 15, 16 innings and stuff. But with the power of streaming, Rich, I have the Yankee game on right in front of me. It's 54 degrees in Cleveland. I visited this stadium in 2019. It's a really cool stadium. Okay. Ben got some nice autographs outside. But you know what? I'm not a fan of the Indians, and I'm not a fan of the Guardians, so let's go Yankees.
I hear you, man. Yeah. So, guy, what were you saying?
Yeah. So back to the Babe Ruth thing. One interesting fact is that Billy Martin is buried about 50 yards away from Babe Ruth. Isn't that pretty cool, Rich?
Really?
That's it's in Section 25 of Gates of Heaven Cemetery, and right across the street at the in Valhalla, the Kensico Cemetery. That's where Lou Gehrig is buried.
Oh, get out of here. Okay.
And I
literally just think I just met somebody over the weekend that owns that cemetery. I forgot who I was talking to be honest with you.
Get out. Really? Wow. Yeah. I know the Archdiocese owns the Gates of Heaven, but John McSherry, old National League umpire, and he was the one that tragically passed away on the field during a Reds Expos game on opening day way back when, and Marge shot the bitch that she was, owner of the Reds, was kind of like, why can't we play the game that day? So she was, that was Marge. But
what did she actually? Well, remember back to the Cincinnati Reds thing. Remember she got herself in a little bit of trouble for saying so. What did she say back then? I remember vaguely, but what did she say back then again? Something racist, right?
Yeah, something with Eric Davis, I think. But Rich, what didn't she say? She was like she was a known racist. I mean, you look at her Wikipedia page. She was. I don't even know how she owned a team in the majors. I mean, today she would never own a team in majors with that type of background. Getting back to McSherry, I remember going to a Mets game in the. It must have been like in 1980. I was like 12 years old, and back then, different times now. But back then, I told my mom I was going to the Mets game from New Jersey, went with a friend. We took the bus, we took the subway to Shea. We didn't have cell phones or anything, and you know what? We were home for dinner. But
yes,
but,
you know what? Yo, let me just pause right there. Again, I'm sorry I keep pausing your question, but you just said how old were you then?
I was 12, Rich.
Oh my God! You know it's crazy. Me and my wife are sitting here right now, and I don't know. My son even maybe listen. I know I talk about my kids a lot, but my son embarked on a journey down to the city today, and my wife's bugging out a little bit about it. But got on the train, he's on the subway. He's like, at some point in time, like, we have to let our kids kind of like, we got to kind of let the string go. We got to let him go a little bit. He's going out to dinner with his friends tonight.
Nice.
So
nice.
Listen, the kid's in college and he's growing up, man. So it's kind of like that. Like you were 12 years old running around. who God knows where. I was doing the same thing. I was running around, God knows where too. So
There
it's
was no cell phone, no 360 app, Rich. We just told our parents we'd be home for dinner, right?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
And it's fun. I just want to get back to the McSherry story, but we went to this Mets game. It was like a day game. I remember it was Mets and Cardinals. I think Rick Ownby was pitching. That's how I remember and stuff. But
Wow.
McSherry was the third base umpire. And back then at Shea Stadium on a 1 o'clock game on a Thursday, you could practically sit wherever you want. And McSherry was talking to me and my friends. So,
Okay.
tragically, he passed away. And with everybody watching TV, to see you dying on the field, pretty horrible way to go, Rich.
That's
But
excellent.
back to what I was saying, he's buried at the Gates of Heaven too,
Okay.
as well as I think James Cagney too. But
Okay.
we could do a go to grave site, whatever, and we could talk about this all night.
Listen,
But
if we start talking about dead people, it's going to bring everybody down. It's Saturday night. People don't want to hear about dead people. You know what I'm
and
saying?
Rich, we're live, so there's no way a dead
Exactly.
person can call it. Well, we don't know.
We don't know.
The
Apparently, they,
supernatural.
apparently they could. Apparently, they could vote. So.
Too funny, yeah, and still pay taxes as well, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy.
I was
So,
wondering.
Rich,
Yeah, go
yeah.
ahead.
So,
I was just gonna say, like, I was going through the town today, and we have. I just wanted to let you guys know, we have flyers going out. I'm pretty sure that's what you're about to get to, right?
you read my mind, Rich. ESP, 6 cents. You got it.
Yeah, we have these flyers out. I'm gonna put a picture of it up on the Instagram account up there. But I'm trying to make it as easy as possible, everybody to see it. Like I know all our friends are like listening to us, and they're trying to share it. But there's a Q scan on there. You walk up to it with your phone. You put your phone right up to it. You guys know how Q scans work. I'm trying to make it as easy as possible. And I've been putting this all over the train stations. We're putting them at the town halls, libraries, anywhere anybody would let me put a flyer up. So listen, again, we're not going away, guys. We're first live show. I like the live thing. There's no room for error here.
Yeah, no. And did you put any in the prison, Rich, or no? You didn't do anything in the prisons, or?
No. I stay far away from there, man. I stay far away from prison, dude.
Somebody I wish that was in the prison was the guy that was tailgating me this morning. So I'm on Osborne Hill Road, Rich. It's 35 miles an hour, and I have the smart cruise control on my car. So I'm not going 35. I'm going like 40 and stuff. And the car does its thing, like going down the hill, it slows down to 40, so it maintains the 40-mile-an-hour grade. And a guy behind me is like tailgating me and stuff. And does the guy expect me to go faster than I'm going, Rich? Because I'm not. Because I
Yeah.
know there's cops that sit on Osborne Hill. There's cops that sit all over here in Dutchess, and I don't want to get a ticket or anything, or anything on my license. But I don't know if that happens to you. Like, it's
No,
just a
listen.
pet peeve of mine. Pet peeve.
This is anybody that's just listening to us for the first time. Again, this is where we're kind of at odds sometimes.
Was that you behind me, Rich? Was that you behind me?
But like this is where we're different people. You know why? Because you're driving around today, right? And you're talking about how people are tailgating you.
Hmm.
Now, I shit you not, in this little town of Fishkill here that we live in, we're talking to people in Fishkill right now. It's like, what goes on in your minds when you drive 25 miles an hour going around these side roads? It took me literally. I went to go drop our flyers off, like we were talking about, over at New Hamburg from
Sure.
my son's football game. It took me like 45 minutes to get home from New Hamburg train station.
Come on, really? Come on.
Eric, I swear to God, I was behind some guy out for an afternoon cruise with his wife, maybe on one of them three-wheelers. Then I was behind a big truck with a trailer. Then I was behind like a lawn mowing company. I got behind every single person that was not that. Listen, again, I was not in a rush to go anywhere today. That's not what I'm saying, but. A little bit of giddy up on a Saturday, on a Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon is very, very much appreciated. See, I had the exact opposite. Like maybe I was behind you this morning.
Well, Rich,
As a matter of fact, I think I was on Osborne Hill Road this morning about 8:00.
Oh, it was 7 o'clock it was 7 o'clock, but still weird. What's the hurry at 7 o'clock though, Rich? Right?
Where
you going?
No hurry. You're right.
I mean, what are you going to try? My coffee at Dunkin' Donuts is still sitting there from 3 weeks ago. I mean, I haven't been back at Dunkin' Donuts, by the way, Rich. I hold a grudge. I really shouldn't hold a grudge, but you know what? F you if you're not going to get my order, or if you're going to close before when I put my order in. But I think I have to let go on that, Rich. I have to let go. I think, right?
Yeah, you know what? I think you gotta let go. Wait, and it's the one that you were saying was such a good one too, right? It was the one on Route 9 over there that they revamped the whole place, and now it's got like keg coffees and shit. So that's the place you're never going back to see. I went up there the other day, and I forgot my first cup of coffee, a good cup of coffee I've ever gotten at Dunkin' Donuts in a long time at that particular spot. So
Oh wow, okay. Okay.
We'll see.
So,
I'm not a big
Rich,
fan of Dunkin' Donuts anyway, but
yeah, Rich, before we proceed, we're having the Yankee game on, and Aaron Judge just moved to the second hole today, and
okay.
he struck out. So
Come on. You know
we'll,
what?
we'll get
I'm
more
gonna
to
get
that
to
later
that.
and stuff. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, you know what?
exactly.
I'm going to get to that because listen, we have we have an an ADD show tonight. We got so much stuff to talk about, and that's like in about 4 or 5 of my different topics that I have on my topic board here. Yeah, we are definitely going to get to Aaron Judge, dude. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, but
So if you're
listen, like
watching the Yankee game, if
yeah,
you're watching the Yankee game right now, this guy Tristan McKenzie, the guy is like he's a toothpick, and when you're up close to him, Ben and I went to a Dodgers Guardians game in Dodger Stadium this past year in June on
right.
Father's Day. We were there, and McKenzie, we were standing right down the field level, right, just the wall separating us from McKenzie. The guy is like a toothpick. It's amazing how he's, but he throws
Really.
hard too. He throws hard. He's a good pitcher.
Yeah,
But
this
hopefully the
kid's a good
Yankees get
pitcher.
to him tonight.
You know, it's good. You got
Look at
it's good. You
yeah.
have the Yankee game on. I still got I got the Mariner Houston game on still right now. It's the top of the 11. So
Yeah, I got the Yankee game in front of me, and I got the Astros game
ah,
to the left
yeah.
of me on my laptop. So I got
You're a professional, dude. You know how to work that shit great, man. You're a professional.
yeah, I know how to work the food plate with food, and I know how to work the TV plate with the games and stuff, Rich. So I'm a pretty good eater and a pretty good watcher of sports. So
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. So you've been speaking about that, speaking about that, you've been pretty busy lately with work, huh? Is this ever going to slow down so we could really get these so we can start doing live shows like every day and compete with these morning drive guys? You
yeah,
going to
it's gonna
start
slow
settling down
down.
at work? All right.
Yeah, the only problem though, Rich, is I get to the office at 6:30, so I don't know what time we're gonna go on live and stuff. But
Yeah, we'll
definitely on
figure
the
it out.
days I work from home, I could chime in and stuff like that. But yeah,
Listen,
no,
this was
it's gonna
just
slow
like I
down
said,
now. And
this was just pretty much like thrown together. I was going to tell Eric we're using this new Podbean. So we give them a plug too. We're using an app called Podbean. It's a better podcasting app that we're using. It's going to allow us to do a whole lot more. Like I said, I don't know if anybody's out there
even
listening. I think it looks like we have one
mhm.
person out there listening. I don't know. I don't recognize the tag, but thank you. Yeah, I hear you
Oh
out there
wow.
listening. Just give us a like if you're listening.
Wow,
So yeah,
even the audio sounds better, Rich. Like you said before,
it
we
does.
tested it out and stuff. There's been some times where I was a little scratchy and stuff, and we're trying to figure it out. But I think I'm just going with the Bose noise reduction headphones today, and that's about it. So I sound pretty good, right?
Yeah, well, you know who it is actually? It's cousin Joe. He just started. He just, what's funny? It's like,
Oh,
what's funny is like when Joe's gonna get a kick out of this. Sometimes when people can't figure out like technology, maybe
yeah,
that is his tag name. But when people get up, like when they're trying to, when they're trying to like troll people online, when there's like, Jacob something 5469846XRKG. It's like when they really don't want to know who they are. That's the kind of
yeah,
letters
yeah.
I see up on the screen there. So I had no idea who it is. What's going on, Joe?
So
How you doing,
Rich,
my friend?
Rich, if we see something pop that says red rum, what do we do?
Murder. Like I said, that means I get up and I go in the other room and I murder my wife. Can I just say that
Yeah,
out loud?
yeah. Oh, Rich, though, by going live and stuff, if the only way our wives can interact with us, Rich, on this is if the house is burning down. So they're not
Yes.
gonna come and ask us if we got tomatoes or bought the lettuce and stuff. Only if the house burns down, we want to hear from our wives during this live
Uh,
podcast.
absolutely. Absolutely, baby.
I
So
think I'm
look,
sleeping on the couch. I'm sleeping on the couch tonight, Rich. The couch tonight, Rich. Because of that.
I'm again, so talking about the Podbean app, I am going, I've been pumping this out. I know you work, but I'm going live. I'm going live Monday morning, hella high water at 8:30 in the morning. I'm going to be talking about sports and a whole bunch of, probably just a whole bunch of morning drive stuff, observations and stuff. And hopefully my partner here will get a chance to chime in and call in and do this with me. So, yes, well, Eric, we are getting the word up. Hey, listen, one more thing before we go any further. We're
Mhm.
live. We may as well say this. We hit a milestone today.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Our
Yes, we
milestone
have.
is now if we check our analytics because analytics means like all right, people are listening. Eric, the MURF and EDUBBS show just eclipsed 1,000 plays.
Nice.
And it's more than that because the one that's taking our analytics isn't taking into consideration the 265 we have on Amazon Music. So
Hmm.
all totaled, we have almost 1,300 listens, man. I mean, I don't know, for two idiots in Fishkill that started this a couple of months ago. I mean, I don't know. You guys are listening. Thanks, man.
Yeah, I like to say two morons, right? Not idiots, but
Ah,
or
I'm sorry,
schmucks,
idiots.
or schmucks or
You're
schmucks.
you're a
But
schmuck and you're a schmuck and I'm an idiot.
Rich, and when I look at the analytics, it says 98% of our listeners are in the United States. So we're 2% worldwide. We have Israel, Thailand, I think it
Thailand.
said, right?
My boy,
Yeah, right.
my boy AJ listens to us from Thailand. He gives us a lot of feedback, man.
And my boy Nitsan listens from Israel. So,
Hey,
yeah.
Nissan, if you listen to this podcast, listen, I got another thing for you coming, man. I just got to have time to work. You know what I'm talking about. We won't say it here, but let Nissan know it's coming. And like I say, listen, he could even chime in live if he wants now.
Yeah, he could chime in live. It's about 7 hours ahead, but you know what though? It's party time. It's a Saturday night, right? Oh,
Absolutely,
actually,
absolutely.
Rich, though, no, they work in Israel. They work Sunday through Friday schedules, so they're off on. I'm sorry, they're off on Friday and Saturday. They work Sunday through Thursday. So actually,
Okay.
Thursday's their Friday in Israel. And a lot of countries operate like that. I think the United States, Saturday, Sunday, Canada, Saturday, Sunday, Mexico, maybe, but a lot of the countries work on Sunday. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, also, a lot of countries don't take work as seriously as we do.
Well, you know
Other
what?
countries
You're
say.
not gonna you're not gonna have me work on Sunday, Rich, with football and baseball on. So
I was
maybe.
talking to I was talking to one of Jack's buddies the other day who went on some like kind of, and he's Jack's age, he's 15. He went on one of these like go to Europe,
Right.
study abroad for a couple of months. He
Oh
told
wow.
me it was amazing that you'd walk into like the middle of a square in where was it? I think Germany or something like that, and there was
Hmm.
literally
Hmm.
people everywhere. Just
Wow.
sitting there, just having coffee, talking, like in the middle of the afternoon. So he's looking around, obviously being from America. Said, why isn't everybody working? What's going on here?
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
Unbelievable.
They have their
Yeah.
month off in August. A lot of them have the whole month off, I think, in August in Europe and stuff. So, unlike here, where you get your 2 weeks vacation a year, basically, and stuff.
I know,
So,
I know, I
but
know.
oh
We
well,
work
what are
we
you gonna
work
do with
ourselves to
that?
death in this country.
But yeah, so Rich, I think the flyers are all over town and stuff, and we
Yeah,
put them on Facebook, Instagram, even on TikTok. So if
good.
anyone just takes a picture of that barcode, they don't need an invitation, Rich. They can get it right in, right? Is that how it works?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, you put your phone up to it and take a picture of it, and like it'll go right to your goes right to your phone. So that's
Perfect.
as like I said. So that's still getting the word out there. I'm trying. Like we're trying with the technology stuff, guys. The content's there, but I don't know. We'll see. So
So, Rich, we did the podcast last week, and we had a kind of like sign off. You were headed to City Field, and you had a
yes,
great night. Uh oh.
yes.
There's a double by Stephen Kwan. I hate this guy. I hate
Stevie
this guy.
Kwan,
Come on,
dude.
Judge, get it in, get it in.
Dude,
Okay,
Stevie
so the end.
Kwan is
Yeah.
having a series, dude.
Oh
They gotta walk
man,
that kid. They just gotta
jeez.
walk that kid. But anyway,
Like
you
they were
you
doing
you were
Donaldson yesterday on the Yankees.
you were
The Guardians walking.
you were saying.
Yes. Yeah, so you were at City Field and you had a great night. The Mets tied up the series 1-1, and then Sunday came and
Well, I discussed. Well, look. I
mhm.
had to. I had to. I know you listened. I had to put this out the other day. We don't. We don't normally do solo things. Because we are a team. But I felt that I had to go out, and I had to go out, and I had to say goodbye to my New York Mets the other day.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I did my podcast. I said a lot of nice things. But let's go back to Saturday. Okay, Saturday brought the magic back. I'm like, I just holy shit, we're in the building. My son, me, happy. It's like it was amazing. It really was. The atmosphere was amazing. DeGrom was fantastic. I mean, well, listen, he was good. DeGrom was better than your average pitcher. How about that? He wasn't
Mhm.
DeGrom
Mhm.
like, but he was better than your average pitcher.
He
You
got the
know,
job done. Yep.
my boy went in there, said, "Pete, do something for me tonight." Pete did something for me. Lindor, do something for me that night. He did something for me. So
Mhm.
now we're all happy. Okay, so we wake up the next day. Football's on. Who cares about football? The goddamn Mets are on. The Mets are on, and they are going to win the wild card. So we watch a Jet game, of course. Watch very entertaining. We're going to go into football later. Jets are playing quite well too. But my
Yes.
Mets go in and lay a big fat goose egg on
Wow.
Sunday night.
Mhm.
Now, when I
Mhm.
say big fat goose egg, okay, you know what? I may as well say something. You know what? Sometimes I like to. I think I've misspoke about maybe misspoke about a couple things, but I talked about manager of the year a couple of weeks ago. Okay,
Sure.
real quick. I said Buck's the manager of the year. Buck
Mhm.
Showalter, manager of the year. Mets, listen, 100 wins, whenever. Buck Showalter is no longer manager of the year. But the reason why the Mets, listen, the Mets didn't hit. The Mets didn't hit. The Mets weren't even pumped for that game. So you know what
Mhm.
though, Buck, you got outmanaged by Bob Melvin, dude. He
Yep.
got
Yep.
outmanaged. and
Yep.
it's disappointing. You know what? Listen, you look at it a positive way. It's disappointing because they had 101 wins, and I went into my whole thing about how we haven't had many 100-win teams. Our
Hmm.
108-win team back in 1986, we won the World Series that year. But that team, you want to comparatively to that team. I don't think there's anybody in the history of baseball that could compare to that team. Just for the fact is, all of those guys would beat the shit out of you in a drop of a hat.
Oh yeah, they were fighters.
And
Yep,
not to
exactly.
mention the crazy part about it was they were not all fond of each other. But you know what, though? They will kill for each other on that baseball field.
Yeah, 26 players, 26 cabs, Rich. That's the old adage. But when they're in the clubhouse and on the field together, they were a team, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said,
Hmm.
it's Ray Knight just hitting people, just anybody gets into it. But I don't think this Mets team has a lot of talented baseball players.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
I love Lindor. Francisco Lindor is probably one of my favorite baseball players. But I want to throw up every time I see him standing there at second base, yucking it up with Machado. Or if I
Mm.
see him at shortstop, in the middle of pitching changes, yucking it up with one of these other guys. I mean, that's not a time to be yucking it up with these guys, man. And I
Right,
think
right.
I don't think maybe McNeil. There's a guy with an edge. Alonso's got an edge. Don't get me wrong. Alonso's got an edge, but he's got that big goofy edge.
Hmm.
Who's going to be, talking about edge. We'll go into your Yankees for a minute.
But
That
Rich, I want
kid,
to I want to step back. I want to step back. Like you see that a lot now. Players fraternizing with the other team and stuff. You never saw
yes.
that back in the 70s and 80s, right? They
No.
hated each other. They hated
No.
each other.
You
Now it's much
absolutely didn't.
softer. I think the fans hate the teams more now than the players. The
Because
rivals
the
and stuff
fans
like that.
can't understand why they're out there hanging out and talking to each other. I mean, Michael
Yeah.
Jordan said it the best. When I got on that field, I don't give a fuck who you. He said my mother could have been across from me, and you're not my friend at that moment.
Hmm. Yeah.
And
You
that
see
and that's
guys.
that.
You see guys on first base. They're talking to the first baseman all the time, laughing and stuff. Like I just want to let you know that Jose Ramirez singled, so the Guardians have first and third with one out,
Right.
and Josh Naylor's up right now. So
Josh Snell,
not
he's
looking good
another
for my
one.
Yankees right now. Yeah.
Josh
So
Snell had a big night yesterday too. Oh man,
I
well
hate
even in
hate
the loss, he had
hate
a good
this
night.
guy too. I hate him. I hate him. So you go ahead, Rich. Sorry for interrupting. Go ahead.
No, where was I? I'm just like comparatively, like how I feel. I won't listen. You can listen. It's called "Goodbye to My New York Mets," where I say goodbye to my Mets, and I actually do. It's more of like it's more of like a kind of a story of like me and my son Aiden and how our Met fandom paralleled each other and why we're such big fans and how how we're never going to stop being fans of that team. Because listen, we're upset, but you know what though. 3 or 4 months from now, we're going to be sitting by the TV, and there's going to be like, Dad, the Mets are going to sign Shohei Ohtani. It's like, no, they're not, dude. It's like, I don't know. It's in Bleacher Report. I read it, and then we're going to be talking hot stove after
Oh
whoever wins
yeah.
the World Series, and it's just going to go right back to being fans, and that's what real fans do. That's just what it is,
Exactly. I think Otani would be a trade, Rich, right? Because the
Yeah.
Angels just signed him to a $30 million contract, so it's like kind of like a like these NBA sign and trade deals or something like
I'm just
that. It
using,
sounds
what?
like.
Look, I'm just kind of using it as an example because every fan goes through that same ebb and flow of their fandom. And listen, if you don't have that ebb and flow of your fandom, you're not a real fan. Now, this is a sports talk show, all right? And it's like everybody's like, sports, really don't mean anything.
Oh
Look,
my goodness!
yeah,
Oh,
what happened?
right under I kind of Faye's fire. Oh, I can't glove.
Oh
He,
God,
he he. The
I
guy can't
love the
field.
live
He
version.
can't
Love it.
field. It's
Yeah, I
one
did.
nothing. It's 1-0.
Oh,
They're running
Jesus
around with
Christ.
Guardian flags. There's a hot dog running around, a mustard thing. No, yeah, it's chaos. It's chaos. It's 1-0. 1-0.
Made me laugh. All right. 1-0. All
Rich,
right.
this is live. This is live radio.
You just made me joke.
IKF could have. He. What is this? What just happened? I just don't know what happened.
I don't know. All right, listen.
Ah,
Let's
okay.
just end
So,
this on.
Rich,
Yes.
excuse me, getting back to your Mets thing, I did like the intro. Excuse me, with the Meet the Mets song, the
Yes.
old school Meet the Mets song. That was great and stuff. And did you have like Bob Murphy on it, or there was some other nostalgic
That
Mets thing you had on there? I think.
listen. Look, even the people that were listening, like my wife, even said this is going on way too long. But that is the actual call from opening day, 1962, of Shea Stadium.
Wow,
That's
that's
the song.
awesome.
That's the song, and right into, like I said, the nostalgic voice of Bob Murphy.
Wow, wow. But you know what, Rich, we love sports so much, if our teams win or lose, we'll always come back and stuff. But one thing that I picked up on your Mets thing that I really liked was kind of like your shout out to the people that kind of gave up on sports,
Right.
either during COVID or due to political issues. I mean, when I watch sports, it's a game. I want to see what's on the field. It's the action. I don't want to deprive myself. I've been doing it for almost 45 years. I got into sports when I was like 5 years old. So it's something that I can never cut ties with. And even during COVID, Rich, when sports went dark for like 4.5 months, 5 months, whatever it was kind of boring life. I'm
We
sure you
had
can.
we actually had that was the infancy stages of the MURF and EDUBBS sports talk show. Remember those Zoom meetings
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes,
during COVID?
that's when we had a plan, Rich. Right? We had a plan. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
we started
exactly. And
talking
our
about this back
plan
then.
yeah, our plan came into fruition. I mean, this is something I always wanted to do and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, during COVID, the only thing that was going on with my pizza contest on Facebook, how many slices of pizza I'm going to eat.
yeah,
But yeah, we were deprived, Rich. And when sports came back, it was kind of like a relief and stuff. Even like during 9/11, as we spoke a couple of weeks ago, getting baseball back kind of like felt you were kind of like back in normalcy and stuff like that.
yeah.
But yeah, what is your take on that? I mean, I know a lot of people said, "Oh yeah, I'm not watching this anymore. I'm not watching. I give up on Yankees." One guy kneels, one guy wears something on his shirt or spikes or
You
something
know
like
what's
that.
yeah. You know
Yeah,
what's
yeah.
I have a couple things. Actually today you know what's funny. I called my dad out today a little bit
Oh,
because I went
okay.
to I went to go see my mom and dad today. Actually, they
Yeah.
said they might be listening, but they're going to
Oh, that's
listen to this
funny.
eventually. But I kind
Mhm.
of called my dad out today. Not that I called him out, but my dad was kind of like one of those guys. Now, listen, my dad is a Vietnam veteran. My dad is
Sure.
74 years old. My dad
Right.
was a New York City police officer. My
Hmm.
dad comes from that old school. If you fuck with America, fuck you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
So
Right. Yep.
now look, it's like he stopped watching. He's not a big football fan anymore.
Okay.
You know,
Okay.
but I just, he asked about, the kids with baseball. I'm like, but he's slowly been like he's a Yankee fan, a diehard
Hmm.
Yankee fan.
Hmm.
So I knew eventually, like my father would listen. I'm not going to say come crawling back, but I'm going to say come crawling back to
Hmm.
baseball
Sure.
because I'm over there today and I'm helping him, my mother and father with something, and I
Sure.
go put something in the back seat, and there's a
Hmm.
Yankee hat sitting in the back seat.
Oh,
And
wow.
then he was casually talking about what you do about the game the other night. So I walk in, I was like, I caught you, Dad. He's like, what? He goes,
Hmm.
you're watching baseball again. He goes,
Ah.
yeah, you got me. He's like, I saw the
Hmm.
Yankee hat in the back. So to your point, listen, a lot of people can stay away. A lot of people can. I think this is how I feel. And again, this is all
Hmm.
based on opinion. My
Sure.
opinion, my opinion about that is like we all live our crazy lives. We all have our work schedules. We all have kids.
Hmm.
Not all of us. We all have our lives. We all have whatever makes our lives crazy. Okay,
Hmm.
and it's mostly everything. Now, my release is one of my favorite releases is like what I did going to that Mets game with my son Aiden.
Hmm.
I'll sit down and I'll watch a game. I'll watch a baseball game. Now I'm one of those odd fellas, and I know you are too. Like we could sit down and watch a Cardinals and Phillies game in the middle of
Oh, sure.
July if there's no
Of
Mets and Yankees
course.
on, and we'll just watch it because it's baseball. But like we're an
Yep.
anomaly. But it's I just think that people just because like you said before about abandoning like watching it. It's like we try to get away from the shit like with the who's a liberal, who's a conservative,
Right.
who's you vote for. It's like are you pro
Hmm.
life, are you pro this, are you I mean
Exactly. Hmm.
how- look, I mean, you want to look. Those are all very valid, like arguments. They're very valid points that people bring up. There's too much fighting in this country, in this world. People don't listen to each other anymore. We have to, try and figure out a way to like listen and talk to each other. But that's my getaway. That's my break from, listening and arguing and talking and
Hmm.
discussing and watching and
Hmm.
going to my job. And that's my release. And
Yep.
so you know what? So if I don't like what's going on, if I don't like the guy kneeling for the American flag, whatever.
Hmm.
So you know what though? As soon as they kick that ball, they're playing football. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like a diversion, Rich. I mean, it's like a 3 hour kind of like mini vacation because you're watching a game that kids play basically, and it takes your mind off things. And once it's over, then it's back to reality again. But you know what though? There's always another game to watch to kind of like sugarcoat things for another couple hours and stuff. But
But you
like I
know what?
said, my
But you know
yeah.
what? To just one more thing about like sports and people like injecting themselves into it and stuff is
Hmm.
it's becoming a big deal now. I listen to Rogan a lot, and I you guys, I don't know if I said anything like might get political for a second. I love Tulsi Gabbard. She's the most amazing politician out there. but she's signing into bill. She wants to sign this bill about how to keep males out of female sports. Like with
Hmm.
these, the transgender men transitioning into a woman, being able to
Sure.
compete against women in sports. I mean,
Hmm.
she was talking about that today. And it's like, when people hear about that, it's like, and then like the casual sports fan hears like, oh, look what they're doing now. Now, like the transgenders are going to be playing and this is ridiculous. And then, because I get it. Politics does get injected in sports sometimes. And it is the athletes that inject themselves into it, whether there's a Black Lives Matter
Hmm.
or, or whatever the cause may be. I mean, obviously, but stuff like that, I guess maybe it should stay out of sports, man. I don't want to hear LeBron James talking about, killing cops and shit, or I don't need to hear that. I just need him to, I know he has a show out there, shut up and dribble, but I don't know, just play basketball, guys. And then more people will, more people will come back, I guess. But that's my whole release. It's a release for me. That's what it is for me.
Yeah, I think for me too. Like I said, my dad was ill, and he was still watching the sports and stuff. It kind of took his mind off of things and stuff. But yeah, it is a 3 hour diversion. It's so much better when you're at the ballpark too, because you get to smell the grass and sit in the sunshine and
Yeah.
enjoy a hot dog or two and stuff and a ice cold beer. But yeah, it is. I mean, look at
Yeah.
us tonight, Rich. We're talking sports. We've been doing
I
this
know.
for 11 weeks already, and it never
Exactly.
gets boring, right?
And you know what though? Like, listen, let me just jump back into this. So now I'm on this soapbox for a second. Like, I'll go off on this tirade now since we're talking about it because, I was just talking about the political aspect. This will be real quick, but I found another ex athlete that is a piece of shit. Well,
Oh,
listen, not
geez.
listen. I wouldn't say he's a piece of shit for what he's doing because of the fact
Brett
of how he
Brett
feels.
Favre again, Rich? You're still on Brett Favre or what?
No, it's not. It's not Brett Favre. It's not Brett Favre. Even though Brett Favre, again, dude, he is still. I don't know, man. He's in a world of shit. That guy. But listen, I'm not going to go into how you feel about this politically or not. I'm not going to go into whether you're pro this or pro that. I'm just going to go into the generality of politicians in this world and how they get their agendas pushed forward and how nobody gives a shit about anything in this world. It doesn't, as long as you follow their agenda. So now Herschel Walker was a football player. You guys remember Herschel Walker? The guy was a beast. Everybody said that the guy did 1,000 push-ups a day, 1,000 sit-ups. Guy was
Yep,
a beast football player. You remember him, right?
of course.
All right,
He was on my favorite
USFL.
team growing up, USFL. Rich, I was a Generals fan. My dad and I love going to the USFL games. First of all, Severino got out of trouble. It's 1-0 in the top of the second. But
Yeah.
my dad and I actually went to the last USFL game. It was the I forget what they called it. Was it the World Bowl or something like that? But it was played at Giant Stadium.
All right.
And after the season, the owner of the New Jersey Generals, his name was Donald Trump, and he
Yeah.
decided to sue the NFL. He actually brought Herschel Walker over from the University of Georgia.
Yeah.
Walker bypassed the NFL. See, the USFL, and I could talk about. I love the USFL. The USFL was like an NFL run league. They had the
I wasn't a
NFL
big fan.
players.
I wasn't a
Yeah,
big fan. I don't know why. I just wasn't a big fan. I don't know why. I had nothing to do. I just wasn't. It might have been too much football. I guess I don't know.
yeah, it was fun to watch. I mean, the games were nice. They were played like on Saturday nights and stuff. The weather was gorgeous and stuff. So this guy, Mr. Trump, who owned the Generals, decided to sue the NFL, saying that the NFL was a monopoly and that he can compete in the fall with the NFL. Yeah, he won the court case, but he only won $3. And there's a documentary on ESPN. Those documentaries they have, Rich? Was it 30 for 30, I believe?
Yeah.
So yeah, they have a documentary on the whole USFL thing and how this guy. Once again, his name was Donald Trump. How he sued the NFL and won, but only won the $3, and the
Yeah.
league folded from there. And actually, they brought it back last year, Rich. They brought back the NFL, but it's kind of like different. They still have the Generals, but they played all the games in Birmingham. I guess during COVID, they figured if they keep everyone in one spot, it would be easier than traveling, and it would save the league some money because a lot of these startup football leagues now they go bankrupt even before the league, like the XFL. All these leagues
XFL.
go bankrupt. Yeah. So by the USFL, by doing this, putting all the games at Birmingham, still having like 8 franchises, I think maybe this year they might expand to the hometown stadiums, and that would be cool to see the Generals playing at MetLife. But
Yeah.
the
Wait, hold on.
players.
Just hold 1 second. We got hey, cousin Joe, if you're listening out there, I see you. I'm gonna pull you up in a second. All right.
Oh wow, he's
Yeah,
cousin
Joe's
Joe on the line. Can't wait to
yeah,
speak to him. It was
he's on
just,
the line. Just give us a second. I want to get my Herschel Walker point out because I'm sure I don't know if you agree or disagree with me about Herschel Walker, Joe, but I'm just gonna
so
give
so I
I'm gonna
yeah
kill
so
Herschel Walker for a second.
So getting back to it, Rich, I wasn't a fan of the USFL disbanding, and all the players eventually went to the NFL. And
Yeah, yeah,
but go
yeah.
ahead about your Herschel Walker story.
Listen, that
Sorry,
was all.
Rich.
That was all good. Like, he was,
Yep.
he was a great athlete.
Yep.
Listen, when I talk about all this shit, like, think, like, oh, Herschel Walker was a football player. I'm never watching football again. But listen, people inject themselves when people inject themselves into politics. Their lives are under a microscope. Now, what a lot of stuff is getting lost, I think, in politics these days. I think a lot of extremes. There's a lot of extremes. I don't even think it's not even like party systems anymore. I think it's like agendas. You have your left agenda and you have your right agenda. Your right agenda tries to chew towards the middle on their end, and the left agenda tries to chew towards the middle on their end. Hence trying to get to the middle and making us all into pussies. That's what the left wants, and then the right wants this. But that's all for a political show. But you can't be Herschel Walker, right, and come out and say about this stance about Roe versus Wade, about him being pro-life. As far as he's he's a person that says you need to completely get rid of abortion completely. It's it's against this. It's against what he believes in. So, listen, that being said, if you're a politician that believes about that, and listen, if you're one of these high-level politicians, man, listen, I hate to tell you, I'm calling you guys out too, man. It's like, don't tell me that you guys haven't even had these thoughts and you're out there spewing this agenda. But anyway, people have had these thoughts. But anyway,
Rich,
what?
I don't even, is Herschel Walker a politician? I don't follow politics, so I don't even know
Herschel
what
Walker, I'm just saying, like, it's hard not to, because Herschel Walker right now is part of one of the biggest senatorial races going on right now over in Georgia.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Now, his stance is he's a conservative Republican. Donald Trump backs him. Again, I'm not beating up anybody's
Sure.
political party right now. I'm just saying, if you're going to go up there and spew and call people all sorts of names, tell them that they're going to hell if they have an abortion, say all sorts of names and point these fingers, you turn around and point that goddamn finger at yourself, because there's evidence out there that you yourself had an abortion or paid for an abortion for a girlfriend back in 2009. Now,
wow.
Now, look, it could be propaganda, it could be whatever. But point being said is, like, his kid had to come out and say, we didn't want him to go into politics because of all this guy's dirty laundry. He's going to embarrass our family.
His son called him out, huh?
His son, Christian, called him out and says, now, this is all stuff I'm reading. I don't know if it's propaganda, some of the, people putting it out, but he was called out on it last night, during this, during his debate. And, obviously he denied it. But this is a guy that's trying to, and the Republican Party is allowing this. Okay. Now, that's where politics is messed up. And you listen to a person like Tulsi Gabbard, who's in the middle, who just left her party completely because she thinks they're fucking nuts. And they are.
Wow.
It's nuts. Like, now, Herschel Walker there's a letter, there's a get well soon card he wrote to her back in 2009. There's a cashed check from Herschel Walker in the amount of a little more than what the abortion costs, because she says, she's not trying. This woman is not, she's not going to sue him. She doesn't want any money from this guy. Listen, maybe she wants to. Maybe there's a little bit of fuck you in her where she wants to, tarnish his name or whatever. But this stuff happened, and she just said, "Listen, I'm sick of politicians getting away with murder in this country, and us as idiot Americans voting for these fucking people." And this guy, his whole family asked him not to run, because I have to believe. Listen, he's denied. But I have to believe it's true, man. I mean, and the guy he's running against last night, asked him a couple of times. Also, the fact that, listen, if you're a law enforcement guy, he's running around calling himself a cop. He's pulling out a shield. The guy's not a real cop. He said, he's running around with a fake shield that he got from some Georgia sheriff or something. But he got called out on that too. What's going on with politicians? That leads me to believe, this will be my last political rant for a minute. It's like, that leads me to believe that just politics in general is just like, just say yes. Just say yes. I don't even know what I'm saying. Or just say this, and that's what you get. And if you want to get votes, just say this. You know what I mean? He probably doesn't know what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Rich, he probably had one too many concussions too on the field, right? I mean, these football players.
Yeah, man.
You don't know what. Even Brett Favre too had a couple of concussions too, so he probably is delusional too about the whole thing you were talking about the past couple of weeks as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, I'm sorry. I wanted to get on that. Little rant.
Hey, can we pull our guest in, Rich?
I was just about to do that. There's cousin Joe. You there?
I am here. Wow. Wow. Hey,
Wow,
good evening.
cousin Joe, what's up?
All right,
How are you?
great. I am now officially a trivia question. I'm a footnote to the greatness that is the
Yes,
EDUBBS and
yes,
MURF show. Who was the
yes.
first call-in listener? And that'd
Wow.
be me. So
It will
great.
go down in history.
Right.
Yes.
Down in the anals. In the anals.
Yeah, in the anals.
I wouldn't have liked anybody else to be our first caller there, cousin Joe. How you doing, my brother?
Oh my God, doing great. Yeah, listen, you guys banter back and forth the last 20, 30 minutes here, watching the
Watching the Yankee game?
I am. Oh my God, it's like
Yeah.
at least you disappoint me early. So
Yeah, exactly.
so
We'll try to make you laugh. How's that?
no, it's all great. I look in the mirror. I can do it every day.
I'm
Oh,
looking at
jeez.
I'm looking at Houston and Houston and Seattle. They're on the top of the 12.
Oh,
They're still playing.
I
still
tell
playing.
yeah. Well, I tell you what, they knocked this game was supposed to be on TBS, and now we're over at TNT. So
Oh,
I
wow.
guess good on Seattle for trying to forcing the issue, trying to stay alive.
Well, it's their first
good
playoff game at home in 21 years. So
Yes, it is.
So it stands for what he's worth right now.
All right, so listen here. All right, so listen up here. We got cousin Joe here. Now listen, Joe. If you know, if I want to do a political talk show, I would have called you earlier. I'm sure you have your views on what's going on with Herschel Walker. But if you like, we could discuss this at the next family party.
Oh, that's fine. Well, the only thing I would say is like you touched on like great points, but just remember too, you hit on the head. It's like you point a finger at someone, you got three pointing back at you, and you look at the guy he's running against, this guy Warnock, and I'm not gonna get too much into it, but he's got his own issues going on with like evicting tenants and spousal abuse issues, and he was a pastor for a while, he had money missing. So all these guys running, like you say, you run for office, man. Your whole life's out there. You're a good, bad, other.
I mean, cousin Joe, isn't it like everybody? It doesn't matter what party you're in and stuff. Everyone has dirty laundry. It seems, right? It's crazy.
The only difference is depends on what party you're running for, and like what election you're in, because it really depends on how the media covers your story and covers your campaign. That's a big part of it, man. That's a big part of it.
That's one.
So the main thing is never open a Twitter account, cousin Joe. Right? No matter what you are.
Oh hell, I'm gonna tell you. Actually, it's funny, man. I have a few things I wanted to touch on there, and this app carousel, man. You guys are jumping on different apps every week, and heck, I mean. I'm pretty basic with my apps. I don't have Twitter. I don't have Instagram. I have Facebook, but I only use that for either for business purposes or touching on stuff. Drop quotes or drop jokes or whatever. But man, since you guys started the show up, I think I've downloaded like every other week. It seems like I'm downloading a new app.
But Joe, this
should be it, right, Rich?
This is going to be our new home, Joe. This is going to be
all right.
And, listen, Joe. You know what? I don't know if you heard my Instagram advertisement, but I'm going up against Boomer and Gio, bro. They're so boring in the morning. I'm doing a live show starting Monday morning at 8:30, dude. Anybody wants to call in?
Drive time.
That's great. That's great.
I'm doing drive time. I'm going to tell jokes. I'm going to tell stories. I'm going to talk about the Mets and Yankees. I'm just going to bullshit, and like I said, those guys suck, man. They talk about how much money Boomer has and how stupid Gio is.
It just shows. I listen to it every morning as well. It's getting stale. I mean, they're kind of running their course there, and whatever. But actually, here's something you got to be thinking about too, as an upstart podcaster. You too, EDUBBS. So you talked about the USFL. So you saw the documentary. It was all great. Trump gave an interview about that a few years ago. I think it was after the fact, and like he was dead honest. His goal or aim, it was a combination. Like, you want to sue him because we're trying to prove you're right, but his goal was to try to force a merger or a buyout. Which, if you think about it, that's pretty freaking slick. Yeah, that's pretty
NFL type of thing, cousin Joe. Was that like
no? It was a combination, either a merger, like you take one of their teams, or just kind of a situation, Say, hey, we're going to buy your league, and then put it out of business because you're competing against us. So it'd be a situation. It's a situation.
Making money though.
The USFL did two things on that. It's like, it kind of forced the NFL to realize, okay, you're not the only game in town, and it was recognized in court. Not like you said, he got paid like $1 or $3, whatever it was.
Yeah,
but
the
NFL.
When you think about it, guys, like when you go, even the NFL back then, though, the NFL has always been a complete juggernaut. Like nobody, like events, like the Daytona 500 moved because of the Super Bowl. Or is it Daytona?
Yes,
whatever the first one is. There are like big events that will never happen on the day of the Super Bowl.
Rich,
or even
Rich,
if they know that like the playoffs are starting, they're not going to have because the NFL is a juggernaut.
There was a lawsuit out there or something out there where the college can only be paid on Saturday. You can't have college games on Sunday. Yeah. There's something out there, a written rule or something like that. The NFL is like, you can't sue the NFL for anything. The NFL is like the top. It's like it's the top. The NFL's the most untouchable business in the country, I would think, right? Isn't that crazy?
Oh yeah,
It's up there.
top dog.
It's up there.
Could you imagine like that business was? Could you imagine having the Major League Baseball Players Union and the NFL, like Goodell running the NFL, the Major League the strongest union, and like the juggernaut that is the NFL. I think those guys could literally take over the world because the
How much does
MLB
Goodell get
Players
paid a
Union
year?
is the strongest union in the world, dude.
How much does Goodell get paid? Goodell must get paid like 25 million a year, right?
No, I saw like 44.
More than that, man.
Yeah, I saw
Holy
44 like 3 years
shit!
ago.
Really?
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
Wow.
who just got double here, man? I'm like,
I
yeah,
know. I see this.
yeah.
All right, so yeah, we're
Reno.
going off on a political. Unless go ahead, Jay. Got anything else to add?
Oh, the only point I was going to say too, that USFL issue, that actually in a lot of ways that benefited the NFL because that forced the rise in salaries, ultimately led to free agency and whatnot.
Right.
So before that time, salaries were kind of stagnant. The league had there were strikes every few years. I don't remember that.
Yeah, I do
You had the big
remember
one,
that,
87, 82. They had a few in the 70s. So once the USFL came and went, that for lack of a better term, it sorted a lot of things out for better or for worse.
You remember
you
remember the 87 strike, guys, where the guys were just crossing the picket line and they were playing football games and they were
There's
getting
a good
hurt.
documentary on those guys
crazy.
too. There's a really good documentary on those guys. It's pretty funny.
It's
actually.
crazy. Do you remember? Were you watching those games though? I mean, we were young and stuff, but were you watching the Scabs play? It was like
Joe, I
hard
don't
on
think
the eyes.
Joe
right?
was born.
I was like 3 years old, but I saw the replacement, so I got the idea behind it.
Those games are horrible. Watching these,
So listen,
Scabs play. Yeah.
So
yeah.
Joe, we got you on the line here. You are a
Great.
diehard Yankee fan, as my partner here is. What's your take on what's going on with the last 2 games here? What's going on with the Yankees? Listen, they played well, and what's going on with them now?
Well, let me tell you something off the bat. These postseason games, this is a different flavor this year because all these teams that were the wild card teams, man, they're kicking ass right now.
Yeah,
Phillies knocked off the Braves. The Padres, they got one. They win one more. They're going to take it. The only one that's really doing well is Houston. I don't know what it's still 0-0, but
0-0,
for what is it? It's October baseball. Anything can happen. Now, obviously they took the first game. That was nice. Yesterday, I thought it could have gone either way. I thought a lot. Ball really dropped the way for Cleveland. But what I'm seeing right now, I'm like,
catch it! Oh my God! Look at this.
But
throw it home. Okay,
that's the thing. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You just said could catch that, but you guys are Yankee fans. Those teams back in the '90s, they didn't make bad plays.
Well, let me tell you something. The play yesterday by Cabrera in left field. What was he thinking? And why wasn't Aaron Hicks playing left field? Cabrera's not a left fielder,
Whoa, wait a second here. Wait a second.
We were murdering Hicks, and we were murdering him.
Weeks ago.
Yeah. You know
He's
why?
Like, where's Aaron Hicks?
No. You know why, Murph? You know why? Because Aaron Boone brought these guys. He brought Hicks and Marvin Gonzalez on the roster. So what are they on the roster for if you're not playing them, right? I mean,
here's a sensitive question I'm going to ask you guys. You don't have to answer me right now. I'm just going to throw it out here, and I want your answer when this is all said and done.
Right.
Yankees don't make it past the first round. They lose to Cleveland. Is Don Mattingly the manager of your baseball team next year?
Could be. You know who the manager should have been? The manager, it should have been Aaron Boone. It should have been Rob Thompson, the manager of the Phillies, when Girardi left the Yankees. It should have been Thompson. Thompson was in the organization for 27 years, Rich. He was supposed to be the heir apparent. No, they bring in Aaron Boone. Why? I mean,
analytics, man, analytics.
Okay. Time out. You want to hear analytics? So yesterday they have Aaron Boone at the press conference.
Joe, he's so mad, Joe.
He let this guy Tim LeCastro hit. Tim LeCastro is the Terrence Gorrich. He's not supposed to have a bat. He's just supposed to use his cleats. He stole a base yesterday. He ran for Stanton and he became the DH. But there's no way he should have had a bat in the 10th inning, whatever. And then they had Aaron Boone on. Well, Aaron Hicks and Gonzalez, they don't match up well against Clase, the pitcher. Okay, so let me give you the stats, right? Aaron Hicks 0 for 3 against Clase and Gonzalez 0 for 1. It's a small sample size. It's baseball, law of averages. Why is this guy swinging a bat? I'm getting all hot. I'm sweating here. There's one Yankee. One Yankee hit a home run off of Clase. Andrew Benintendi, and he can't play right now. But I mean, and then he said that he doesn't give up walks. So what was Hicks supposed to do? Just stand there for 4 pitches and wait for a walk?
So it doesn't make any sense. Bottom line is, it
doesn't make any sense.
You think that? So you think the bottom line with the Yankees right now is that Aaron Boone sucks and he doesn't know how to manage.
So listen. Okay, so Clase, right?
Aaron Judge is 0 for 9.
But Rich, listen to these stats. Emmanuel Clase versus right-handed pitching 158 versus left-handed pitching 179. So in my books, 179 is better than 158. So why isn't the left-hander up there facing him? All right, it's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense. He said that his splits are better against right hand. It's stupid. The splits against the left-handers.
That's all analytical baseball, Dan. That's what people.
But that's what he does.
I know.
It's all numbers.
I don't like it, man.
I hate it.
It's not good.
Oh, it's so annoying.
You know what, though? And especially in the playoffs, man. Analytic baseball goes out the fucking window. You know why? Because look what the Phillies did the last 2 days, dude. Who the hell expected the Phillies analytically to be even in this hunt? They slapped the shit out of the baseball the other night with with little bullshit broken bat hits. And then they hit 3 home runs the other night. They're pitching. They're playing the field. Now, what if a team like the fucking Phillies, who weren't even supposed to be in the goddamn playoffs, what if they're facing what if they're going up against Mariners? They can't hang with Houston. What if they're going up against Houston in the World Series?
Oh, shit. Here's another one.
I'm just saying, when you come to the playoffs, all these analytics geeks, and we're gonna do a show on analytics one time because my cousin Michelle listens to us all the time, and she's a math teacher. I know I keep mentioning it, and she's gonna call me on because she listens to the show. But she wants to do, has a lot of questions about why math is so important in baseball. And it comes down to the analytics part of it. And I don't know about you, man, but the analytics is when you, it's kind of like what you do, Eric. When you think about it, it's projecting something to happen.
Right.
It's kind of saying well, listen, we sold 900 hot dogs last year and 750 the year before. So we're projected to sell 1,050 this year. No, you're projected to sell whatever the fuck you sell because it might be COVID that season.
But Rich, it goes beyond analytics with this guy. Why was he batting Judge first? I mean, that was a gimmick, Rich. A-Rod was on TV last night. It was a gimmick.
So smart to saying this. So smart.
You know what? And I want to talk about A-Rod for a second.
So smart. I hate A-Rod, but this is so smart.
No. This is good though, Rich. This is good. So
I know. I agree with you. Go ahead.
Let's get Judge to tie Maris. Let's get him to break the record. And then why is he still batting first? Right? I mean, don't you want your best guy batting second through fourth? Maybe. Why would he be batting first? So even A-Rod went on TV last night. And he says it's a gimmick. Why? And you know what? All kidding aside, as much as we all hate A-Rod, the guy should be a manager. The guy knows everything about baseball, Rich. And
you know what, Eric? And you brought up. Listen, I'm going to say too. You brought up a really good point about the batting lineup too. It's like you're talking about a guy like Barry Bonds who never led off. Did Barry Bonds ever lead off? Did Mark McGwire ever lead off? Did Sosa, Babe Ruth? I'm just talking about all these guys who were hitting home runs. They were batting fourth in the lineup.
You know why Babe Ruth wore the number 3? Because back then your number was when you appeared in the lineup. So Babe Ruth was the third batter. But yeah, these guys never batted first. Even A-Rod never batted first. I mean, you got your first guy. There's no protection if you're. Where was Judge's protection? Who's the ninth guy up? That was his protection. It was so dumb having Judge bat, and today he does bat him second because all the fans are in an uproar. Cousin Joe, what do you think about that? Judge batting first. Right?
Well, first of all, I'm sorry I even brought it up. I said, "Oh my God, you guys went on a chant. Check your blood."
I had it already done.
Check your blood. Here's the I'm a realist, right? So yeah, I take things in proportion. You kind of step back, and Rich, I'm gonna give you some sagely advice a little bit about the Mets. But with the Yankees right now, just look at the roster we have now. The guys that are playing, man, go back to opening day, and you kind of put them side by side. So you play the cards you're dealt. Now, yeah, why you put Judge first? I don't know. I mean, towards the end of the season, I got it 100%. You're trying to get him the at bats, trying to get him on base, trying to get him the triple crown shit. I get that now. I have no idea what the hell he's trying to do. If they win it, we're idiots, right? What the hell do we know? But they lose a series, right? You got a lot of questions to ask, and I think he'll be back next year. I don't see why he wouldn't. I mean, for every year Boone's been the manager. I think they won 100 games, except this year they got 99. But be that as it may. But I know you don't want to hear that. I know you don't want to hear it. But the facts are the facts, right? Guys, he's winning games for you, and
yeah, I know. I just just real quick. I'm sorry to I don't know if you heard.
Oh, sure.
I'm not even talking from
Here we
a baseball
go.
standpoint. I don't know if you heard my rant about business, right? Do you hear my rant about business when it came to Judge?
Here it comes.
All right. I just think I said the other day to Eric, and Eric disagreed with me, of course, but I just think that you're dealing with a guy in the Mets owner who they made a show about him called Billions. Now he didn't get to be a billionaire by being a nice guy. All right. So
correct.
Eric's argument to me last week was they're all in the same room together. They all eat at the same tables.
Oh, right.
He said the Steinbrenners, they said you're allowed to have this team. So at the end of the day, the guy with the most money is going to walk back into that room and say, yo, Aaron, fuck these guys, bro. Get whatever their offer is. I'll give you $100 million more. I'll give you a plane and I'll give you a penthouse apartment. Don't let anybody know. Here's my card. Listen to all 31 of those other guys and then give me a call. And and again, I don't want that to happen because I want the guy to stay with the Yankees. Oh, I love him. I just think that's how business works, dude. I just think
the fans booing Judge yesterday didn't help Rich. I mean, why are the fans booing Judge? We gotta send Judge flowers. We can't be booing him.
So Joe, I'm sorry to cut you off, man, but I just think from a business standpoint, being a scumbag businessman that he has to be to get to that.
Listen. There's nothing wrong with that either, because EDUBBS. I will tell you. Back in the day, we had an owner, George Steinbrenner, the old man. Not the 2.0, not the 2.0, the Connor Jenner version, but old man Steinbrenner, man, he was like
the real one.
The real one, yeah. He'd cut you a check. He was like, okay, what? How much would it cost to bring on this team? And he cut a check, and he had no problems spending money, trading away draft picks, blowing the team up.
What about Joe? What about Get Me Giambi? Get Me Giambi.
Yeah. So it's
he didn't get Barry Bonds, though. He tried. Right. But he couldn't get Barry Bonds.
Couldn't get Barry Bonds, and we couldn't get Ken Griffey Jr. for other reasons.
Well, no, he works that. Thank you, Buck Showalter, for that. Yeah.
No, that was Billy Martin. It was a Billy Martin story. Yeah.
But then it went to Buck Showalter when he told him to turn his hat around.
Correct. But at that point, he was already pissed off. He wasn't coming anyway.
I know.
Yep.
A young Ken Griffey Jr. Getting scolded by Billy Martin back in the early '80s, right?
Yep. True story.
Crazy.
It happened.
Yeah. So back on the Aaron Boone. So he brought in Jamison Tyon in relief yesterday.
Oh yeah.
Okay, I had to look at Tyon. Excuse me, I'm getting all worked up here. I had to look at Tyon's stats. The guy never pitched in relief in his career.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, you have
still, man.
You have Schmidt. Clark Schmidt, he was relief pitcher the whole season, relief starter.
Who the fuck is Clark Schmidt?
He's a rookie, Rich.
You have a guy named called Clark Schmidt? He says he has a witness protection program.
You had Domingo Germán. Domingo Germán going to come in. He's been in relief. Why is he going with Tyon? I mean,
is Clark Schmidt?
It's not like the Mariners bringing in Randy Johnson to close out a game in the playoffs or something like that.
Schmidt Domingo Germán's alias?
Oh my God! And you got this guy Lucas Licky too. Lucas Licky, a left-hander. So you had Ramirez and Naylor coming up. The two guys that fare poorly against left-handers. Why wasn't Lucas Licky in the left-hander? Oh, let's bring in the righty Tyon. I mean, that's why Boone's got to go. Please let him go.
The only reason why a Yankee fan would say no is because he's had a couple of seasons with 100 wins, but I don't think he's running that team anyway. You know what I mean?
No, exactly.
I just don't think he's running that team. He doesn't have balls. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what A-Rod said. A-Rod said he wasn't sure Cashman was putting Judge up first in the lineup, so Cashman might be doing it, and Boone's the puppet in the dugout. Basically, Cashman's pulling the strings. Basically.
Yep.
Crazy.
Jumping real quick. So Rich, as I heard your Mets farewell the other day. That was beautiful. That was right in the field. So I'll just tell you a few things now, just if it's any consolation. So think of it this way: this time last year, if we had told you you'd be watching the Mets in the playoffs, your team would have won over 100 games, how would you have felt?
Joe, I would have felt great.
This time last year. Listen, so there's that, and just remember too. Okay, EDUBBS and I, we have lived through to a point. You have some retort to this, but we lived through the greatest meltdown I think in the history of the franchise, the 2004 ALCS. We will never speak of that again.
I spoke about.
But you know what, though?
But you know what, though? I guess like you said, you listened to it, but. What bothers me more is like you guys have 26 other ones if you didn't win that 27th one. You know what I mean? It's like, if you didn't win that 25th, you know what I mean? It's like, I just that really stabbed me in my heart because Aiden's old enough now, and I see the disappointment that I had when I was his age, and I just know it's just going to carry on. But also, you know what, though? It builds character. It makes, it builds character. Our team's going to be back. We're going to start talking hot stove in a couple of weeks. It's like, so it's like, that's why sports is good, man. Like I said, if you heard my rant before about, equating politics and sports, and if you want to stand for the national anthem or if they're talking about this or talking about that, I just turn it on at first pitch, tip off, or kickoff. Because I want to get away from that bullshit. You know what I mean? Yep. And I know you. And I know you feel that way too, Joe.
Oh,
Can I
absolutely.
just bring up? Can
Okay.
I just bring up one more point though? What if the Yankees signed Manny Machado a couple of years ago? Why did they miss
Oh,
that? I mean,
yeah.
I think Machado would have been the perfect fit for this team, don't you think, guys?
Well, you know what? It's you can always second guess it, right? If he came to New York, would he still be the same guy, or would the pinstripes be too heavy for him? I don't know. I don't know. So
I think he likes the spotlight. I think he would be
he
perfect in
does.
New York. Yeah.
So Joe,
Yeah.
what's your silver lining on my Mets season? Yeah,
Oh,
that
so yeah, just hey, listen. You gotta lose a few times before you learn to win. That's for true. And just remember too, it's like in the grand scheme of things, your team you increased like what 25, 26 wins from the previous year, something like that. That's no small potatoes. That's a tremendous accomplishment, and just you have a lot to look forward to. Listen, you touched on the owner. I think the guy's great. He's a Steinbrenner 2.0. The guy has no problem spending money, cutting people, trade whatever the hell he has to do to win games. That's something to really hang your hat on, and just going forward, we'll see what happens. And let's be honest, we all love Buck. I love Buck. His MO is to build a team up. He moves on. The next guy comes in and wins World Series for you. So this may be a case of history repeating itself.
Now I want to touch on something that kind of like goes along the same lines of this. I'm probably gonna push your guys' buttons a little bit, but
Sure.
but like remember before I went into the fact that Joe before we went into our we went into our thing about who we think should be like MVP, Rookie of the Year, Manager of the Year. And I just admitted before that I said that, listen, I had Buck Showalter winning Manager of the Year, hands down, but very disappointed. And listen, he managed the team great, but how could Buck Showalter be Manager of the Year if he lost out to Bob Melvin or if he lost out to that manager? And it wasn't just like a team of listen, that Padres team is very well managed right now. And I don't know if you guys are watching that game. They're beating the Dodgers. I mean, they're a very well managed baseball team. Like, when I watched Juan Soto bunt the other night. Again, I don't know if it was Melvin telling him to do it or Soto being in a slump saying I got to break the slump. But that's a well-managed baseball team doing the little bullshit things like that. Not Juan Soto saying I have to get in there and swing this baseball bat and win the game. It's like trying to do something to get out of your slump. Now, that's how I felt about Buck Showalter going into this. And I'm just throwing this out there. Like, do you think somebody like Aaron Judge kind of tarnishes his MVP status by going 0 for 17 when the guy got Alvarez, who was out for a couple of months, and if he didn't miss those whatever weeks that he missed, he could quite possibly could have been the MVP this year. Where if he tears it up and becomes Big Papi in the playoffs here, is Judge's MVP tarnished?
No, the playoffs don't count, Rich.
That's exactly it.
But I know
that's
that,
exactly it. Yeah,
I know that, but I understand that. But from being an observer, being a watcher, and being a fan of baseball, but your most valuable player comes through in big situations. Like Derek Jeter could have been the most valuable player for the Yankees every single year. I mean, being the most valuable player is somebody that always comes in the clutch. And I think it should, and I really do think that it should extend past the playoffs because there are teams that are built for the playoffs. Shohei Ohtani wasn't even sniffing the playoffs today, and he kicked ass. But you're sitting there, and a guy like there's so much more pressure on Alvarez and Judge than there is on Ohtani to win the MVP now. You know what I mean? Because they're still in the playoffs. So say Judge goes 0 for 21. Let's just throw that out there, and he's presented with the MVP. A guy like Judge, do you think he could accept that award?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, the award it's based on regular season, not postseason. Here's another thing too. If you want to play that game where it should include postseason performance, you're going to exclude a significant number of players because how many players have won an MVP, have won a Cy Young, and their team didn't make the playoffs?
Like what? I'm just saying. I'm not saying it should count a lot.
If you're judge, I hear your position. If you're judge, you're going to get that award. It's like, it's kind of awkward. You stuck it with the playoffs, but so be it. But then again, same.
Judge goes, 3 for 17 with 3 singles and 2 RBIs. Yeah, whatever. Okay, but if he pulls an offer in the entire playoffs and you're the MVP of the league.
Well, shit. Look at last year with the NFL with the Aaron Rodgers getting the MVP. Man, they got their asses kicked by San Francisco at home in a game in the snow, and he still got the MVP. So it's kind of like, I kind
of thought that was bullshit too. Yeah.
But you shrug your shoulders like,
Yeah, but Rich, Judge put the team on his back the whole year. I mean, 162 games he carried the team.
Listen, I'm really just playing devil's advocate here because I'm looking at this guy swing the baseball bat, and he's looking like Big Papi up there with his.
Well, he's up right now, Judge. So let's see what he does now. Go. He's up right now with a man on third. This will determine if he's MVP or not.
There we go.
Like, how about this too? We could also have the same argument. What about Goldschmidt and Arenado?
Right.
Cardinals are out in the wild
Yeah.
card.
They had
And you're talking
a
like,
horrible series against the
and
Phillies.
you're talking
Yep.
about you're not talking about one player. You're talking
Right.
about two players who literally could be the MVP this year on the same team, same lineup, hitting back to back, and your team is out in the wild card. How could you look yourself in the mirror and say I couldn't pull past the wild card game, and I have two of the best players on the planet on my baseball team? And again, I know I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Ohtani's not in the playoffs, though, Rich. Ohtani's not in the playoffs. How can you give him the MVP? He's not in the playoffs,
You're right?
right?
Yep.
But and that going back to what I said before, I was kind of just saying like, if you're like, what if you just have a completely outrageous playoffs? Does it add to your MVP? Or if you have a real shitty playoffs? I'm saying if you go into the playoffs and Judge goes 3 for 17, like I said, and has an average play, yeah, he's the MVP. But if he does something so terribly or so better, like say, what if this guy hits like 4 home runs, and has like 9 RBIs just in his series, and then he goes on and he wins the World Series, and he's like 11 for 25, and he's just kicking ass. You know what I mean? The judge is like, oh, thanks for the MVP. But you know what, though? Alvarez is going to turn around. You know what, though? But Alvarez is going to turn around and say, hey, thanks for the World Series trophy. So I guess that.
Yeah, and Judge gets extra dollars for.
Sure.
It is high.
It is far. It is gone.
All right, Judge.
Oh, good.
Yes.
All right. Here comes the judge.
Yes. MVP.
I thought you guys pulled the
MVP.
I thought you guys pulled the Sterling on me.
Take back everything you said.
Well,
Good,
hey,
good.
Rich.
As we speak.
Hey, Rich, two things here real quick to you. So, in a lot of ways, you validated my point before. I told you before, you're right, you got to lose before you can win. Look at the Padres at the last few seasons, right? That's a team that's kind of on the cusp, about to do great things. Now this year, like they're breaking through, right? And
Look at
also,
that smile on Judge's
that's
face.
beautiful.
Look at
Oh,
the
that's
Yankee
beautiful,
dugout.
beautiful.
The Yankee dugout's alive.
But hey, Rich, quick trivia question for you here.
Yes.
Who was the MVP at the '86 World Series?
Hold on a second.
Come on.
No.
Come on.
Ray Knight.
What kind of?
Ken McReynolds.
It wasn't on the team. It was Ray Knight. It was Ray Knight. Ray Knight.
Right.
Okay.
I thought it was Bill Buckner.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why I said
Warren's
that.
consideration.
Yes.
But at the same, I bring this up.
It was Ray Knight. I know.
It was Ray Knight. Take a look at Ray Knight's stats for that season. Was decent. It was a decent season. Was by no means an all-star, but it's kind of at that point. The guy was not an MVP. Had average season, did what he was supposed to do, but guy got to the playoffs, turned it on, and so it goes both ways, right?
It's funny too. It's funny too is in a team full of guys that hated each other. All the guys that hated each other hated Ray Knight.
Yep.
He was supposed to be the biggest prick on that team, dude. Nobody can talk to him, dude. He's supposed to be the biggest prick. He literally just got up and punched Eric Davis right in the face on national television.
That's great.
Yeah, you know what, Joe? You do make a very good point. There are players that sometimes they do, really shine, in big situations, and they become the MVP, and then they may have had a mediocre season. You're right about that. That's a very good point.
Yeah.
Very good point. All right, so Judge, was it a 2-run home run or was it a 1-run home run?
2-run bomb, 2-run shot. Yep.
Yeah.
We're looking at the bottom of the 13th here in Seattle. Holy shit. My buddy,
0-0
my buddy that I
still,
met in
right?
Mexico,
Jeez.
Mike, I think he's at this game. My buddy Mike out there in Seattle, he's going to a lot of the games. I met him down in Mexico.
Oh, wow.
So,
Wow.
All right, so listen. So now look. Yankees win this game tonight, right?
I'll be happy if they win. Tomorrow beat Garrett Cole.
Yep.
My favorite guy in the world.
Yep.
How do you
know
listen,
what,
guys? How do you like that guy? I don't care, man. Whatever. He strikes out a lot of people, but how do you like that guy?
Rich, he took a team that doesn't strike out that much, and he struck out 8 batters the other night. I mean,
Whatever.
he was pretty
But he's
ballsy
such
the
a
other night.
dork, dude.
You know what though? I don't care. I don't care. If you win games for me, I don't care if you're a dork. I don't care if you wear your hat backwards. I don't care if you wear Crocs. I don't care if you read Harry Potter. I don't care if you go apple picking. Just win the games for me. That's all.
Hey, I wear my hat backwards, Crocs, and I go apple picking. You must think
Rich,
I'm a real dick.
you were in my house. You were in my house the other day with your hat on backwards. And
Yes,
I said,
I was.
Are you wearing a Phillies hat? It was a red hat. I thought it was a Phillies hat. Yeah.
No, it was a red hat. It was my son's
Hey, Rich. I just want to ask you something though.
Sure.
The Braves are out of the playoffs. How do you feel about the Braves being out of the playoffs? But how do you feel about the Phillies still being in the playoffs?
All right.
So how do you feel about that?
You pose a very good question for a Mets fan. Okay.
Yes,
I'm ecstatic right now that the Braves are out of the playoffs.
Wow.
I'd be ecstatic that the Phillies are out of the playoffs because literally, being the guy that I am, I hate both of those franchises. I just do. I'm not a Philly guy. I'm not an Atlanta Braves guy because they've all broke my heart. But I have to respect the way the Phillies played that series, dude. They came out of nowhere, dude.
Yep.
Bryce Harper, that home run that Reese Hoskins hit the other night was a no doubt bomb, dude.
Mm-hmm.
When he swung and he slammed the bat on the ground. I knew they were winning that series when they hit those home runs. I knew that the Braves. Listen, even Michael Harris couldn't bring them back. Strider, look what the hell happened to Strider, dude.
He got lit up like a
him and his stupid cheesy mustache got lit on fire. Mm-hmm. What is this? The other night, okay. I'm looking at the wrong game here. Every single person in that lineup was smashing him.
Yep.
And look, I know he's young and like he just came on this year, but holy shit, dude, that was some series. Now the Phillies are moving on.
Yep, exactly. Yep, crazy. And they had the inside the park home run today. Did you see that by Real Muto, the first catcher to ever hit inside the park in the playoffs? You saw that?
No.
Yeah, he's a good player. He just mowed around those bases. And what else? Oh, Harper hit a home run today, I think, too. I mean, they just – oh, no, Brandon Marsh. Now, here's what I wanted to talk to you about Brandon Marsh, Rich. Brandon Marsh, left-handed hitter, came from the Angels.
Yeah.
The guy's a gamer. He plays the outfield. I think the Mets would have been better off with Marsh than they were with Vogelbach. Any reactions on that?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Look – listen, love Vogelbach. I hate him. Like he was kind of like a cartoon character on the team. If they would have won, listen, Joe, if Mets win the World Series, what's Vogelbach doing? He's smashing beers on his forehead. He
would be like a cult character. He'd be the same league as like a John Kruk or somebody like that. Is people love. Yeah, that guy was great. But
that's why they got a guy like him because if we win the World Series this year, this guy sucks, but he's going to be a party animal at the World Series party. I think that's why they got Vogelbach, and maybe Pete Alonso, somebody to challenge him in his eating burgers or something. But you're right, they would have definitely been better off with Marsh. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They would have definitely been better off with him. But looking back in retrospect, I can only push forward, for my Mets for next season, see what they do. It is what it is. It is what it is. So,
Richard, boy, Julio Rodriguez is up for the Mariners, bottom of the 13th. Yes. Still no score. I mean, do you guys think that baseball playoffs are probably the best playoffs to watch?
No. Eric, I'm sorry. Eric, we were talking the other day. The sport I'm going to say right now is I'm not an average. I like it. I'm not average. Hockey playoffs are intense.
Okay.
Intense.
So what?
I am not a hockey. I like hockey. I don't know. I'm an Islander fan. I'm a 50-year-old Islander fan. Anybody that does the math can figure out why I'm an Islander fan. But
Cousin Joe, you weren't born yet.
Correct.
Joe, the 4 Stanley Cups. Mike Bossy.
Yep.
Who just
Look at Severino striking out Naylor. Woo!
But you know what though? I can turn that channel on the day the playoffs are, and I can watch any hockey game because they beat the shit out of each other.
Yes, they do.
Real men kicking each other's ass for a common goal to win a sport and to win a Stanley Cup. Not that I'm saying that all the other sports aren't like that. Even football, even football, they get kind of like a breather here and there. The intensity of playoff hockey. Joe, you're a hockey guy. I'm not. I'm going to be looking for a hockey correspondent. Explain to you're a Ranger fan, right?
That would be my cousin Kevin and cousin Rob. Those are the guys you really got to talk to.
Get them on to talk hockey.
Absolutely. The only thing I would tell you was hockey, though, man. Those guys are intense. Who's that guy a few years ago? He literally broke his jaw in the game in like the first or second period. He came back in the third period. Yes. I forget who the guy was, and he played the next game. They gave him some special helmet. I don't know what drugs they gave him, but he was back. Shit.
Remember that guy, that goalie for Buffalo, Clint Malarchuk? He had his jugular vein severed.
Yes.
Oh shit. There's blood coming out of his neck and stuff. It's like, oh my God! The guy survived too, right? He lost like pints of blood. Oh my!
Yeah.
Not funny, but when I watched it, I was like, oh my God, what just happened to this guy? Right?
Yeah,
jeez.
But listen, the baseball playoffs. I'm a and this is coming from me, Eric. I'm sure you were surprised. I am a baseball guy, bro.
But Rich, so physicality. You're talking hockey, but in like a chess game strategy type thing, it's baseball. I would think, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And and what's so good is they say it's a new season. Once baseball season with the playoff, once it's over, playoffs start. It's a new season. Like I said,
the pitching's much better too in the playoffs than it is in the regular season.
Or much worse for my
Yeah, but look at basketball.
I still love Max. I still love you, buddy. I still love you, Max Scherzer.
Look Look at the NBA playoffs, though, Rich. I mean, the guys just play a couple more minutes, nothing much flashy. You said hockey's physical, baseball's more strategic, but like NFL, the NFL's like the NFL. I think there's something.
All right, listen. How about this?
Changes.
I got two. I have two huge sports fans sitting in front of me. Okay, now listen to the entirety of the question before you answer. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now, would you rather? Okay. Would you
No.
rather? Would you rather throw the winning touchdown pass to win the Super Bowl?
Okay.
Hit a home run to win the World Series.
Yep.
Score a goal in Game 7 to win a Stanley Cup, or hit a game-winning three-point shot in Game 7 a la Ray Allen. What would you rather do out of those four things?
Cousin Joe, you go first.
What team am I on?
Any team you want.
Well, that's a legitimate question too, because it's like if it's a Super Bowl, everybody's watching, right? Guys are all glued on. If it's NBA, if you got two crap teams, I don't know who's watching that game. So, me, I'm a big football guy.
I'm talking about for you, for your heart, like for your heart, like what would feel the best?
Oh shit! Probably football. Like I said, just because the fact it's one game, it's one and done. All of the other sports though too. I mean, you had worked to the point to get to Game 7, so there's that aspect to it. But probably football, Super Bowl, because I mean, literally the entire world is watching that game. You can talk about hockey and baseball and the NBA and this, that, and the other, all those great things. But game goes to 7 games. People are going to be watching, but it's just not going to get the play that the Super Bowl would. So, yeah, Super Bowl.
All right, there you go. Makes sense. E, what's your synopsis?
Rich, when you asked the question, what flashed in my mind first? Bobby Thompson, the Giants win the playoffs. Bill Mazeroski, the Pirates beat the Yankees. Joe Carter, the Blue Jays beat the Phillies. You know what? No doubt about it, Rich. It would be a game-ending home run to win a World Series. No doubt about
Eric, that's why we're such good partners, bro. I was just gonna say, how would you like to be Joe Carter back in 1993 for that Blue Jays team, hitting that home run? That's not a home run to win like a playoff game. That home run won them a World Series, dude.
It would have been better if it was an American team, right?
You're saying what we're all thinking. You're saying what we're all thinking.
I read you guys' mind.
I brought up the wrong guy, but
Rich,
I saw it. But.
Okay, Rich, take it back. If it happened in either Citi Field or Yankee Stadium, a game-winning home run like that, Game 7, it would be bedlam, right?
Oh, God,
I mean, look at yesterday. Yesterday. Do you guys remember? Well, Joe, you weren't born yet. Rich, Chris Chambliss, the home run to beat the Royals. Yes. Did you see Chris Chambliss running the bases? I mean,
he's like running people over. Yeah.
Oh my God, he knocked the guy out cold. I mean, that was a dramatic home run. I mean, you'll never see that in the Super Bowl. Like, okay, touchdown, game's over. This is like, I think baseball's the ultimate, Rich, in terms of what you said the question was. Yeah. I mean, nobody gives a shit who hit a 3-pointer to win the NBA championship.
I don't know, bro. That shot that Kyle Lowry hit. Oh my God, dude! It was that.
That's true.
Oh
that's
my
true.
God, dude!
But you know what though?
Was it Kyle Lowry? Or was it? No, I'm sorry. It was what's his name? Jesus Christ.
No, Kyle Lowry is the guy. Yeah. See, we don't even remember, Rich, right? But we remember the baseball home runs, right?
Right. We're gonna do an NBA segment in a little while. I gotta get this guy's name right. Whatever.
Season starts this week. Yeah.
But you know what? You're right, though. I mean, for me, I'm a baseball guy. For me, it's the home run, man. You hit that home run, or you strike out the side, in the bottom of the ninth. For me, it's got to be that, man. On a Game 7, I mean, holy shit, dude.
How about Don Larson's? How about Don Larson's perfect game, Rich?
Oh, perfect game, man. Throw a perfect game in the World Series. How great!
How about that, huh? How about that? Right?
Yeah, how about let's since we're on the topic of closers here. I want to bring up something real quick. I know, Joe, if you want to continue with this conversation. Bruce Sutter died. Bruce Sutter.
Yeah, very sad. Very sad.
Cancer, unfortunately, very sad. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Cancer. Mm-hmm. Now, I was, just because of the fact, looking up Bruce Sutter, I was like, kind of like looking up. I want to kind of find out, like, at what point in baseball where the relief pitcher became separated into like a middle guy to a closer. Because if you look like back in the day, you got like guys
probably mid-90s, I would think, right? Mid-90s, early 90s, or something like that.
Yeah, even it is like, all right, look at a guy like this. Here's a perfect guy at the cusp of this. You got a guy like Trevor Hoffman. Okay, now Trevor Hoffman was a closer. He's got 600 saves. He's got a 1.48 ERA. That's pretty fucking good, man. That's a lot of. But then I think that separation is where it comes. Now, if you want to look at a guy here. Goose Gossage is the perfect example. Okay,
Well,
Goose
yeah,
Gossage. Goose Gossage had a 3.0 ERA. Okay, 310 saves. Now you know what that shows me is Goose Gossage didn't stay in for 1 inning. Goose Gossage pitched 4 innings, 3 innings. Raleigh Fingers pitched 4 innings. Raleigh Fingers won 114 games as a relief pitcher, dude. 114. That's crazy.
Yep.
So I mean, and now listen, now the closer is a very big part of the game. I was pissed off the other night watching Diaz come in the 8th inning. I'm like, what are you doing? But we've been so in tune to like Mariano Rivera's and like these unstoppable 1 inning guys, that we forget about. And Goose Gossage is a little bit of a curmudgeon about these guys too. He's like, fuck these guys, fuck these kids. They come in for 1 inning. I pitched 4 innings in my day. I was basically.
I have a quote. I have a quote that Gossage said. He said, "Closers today ain't worth a hill of beans because they only pitch 1 inning." Now these guys back in the 70s and 80s, but before that too, they would get at least 9, 10 outs, like we said, Rich. But sometimes even 12 outs. And come back and pitch the next day. Now you can't even get a starter to pitch 100 pitches, and then you have your middle reliever, you get a hold. Now there was no such thing as a hold when we were kids.
You got your lefty specialist, your righty specialist,
right.
Your circle jerk specialist, whatever. Right? It's just like, what the fuck, man? Just go in there and pitch. You know what I mean? I don't know, dude.
But though, Rich, Bruce Sutter was like one of the original ones, though. I mean, and the thing with Bruce Sutter is, now, cousin Joe, you grew up later. We were, both Rich and I are in our 50s, but we didn't have the ESPNs, we didn't have the internet. We were just basically stuck with Yankees, Mets, and then the NBC Game of the Week, right, Rich? And then Monday Night Baseball with Howard Cosell. So we were, if Sutter was alive today and pitching today, we'd see him every day. But we didn't see these guys pitch that much. But we were fortunate in New York that we got to see at least one guy, between one of these teams. Either there was no interleague, so if Sutter pitched against the Mets, I could watch Sutter pitch against the Mets, and vice versa. If Gossage pitches for the Yankees, you could watch Gossage pitch for the Yankees. But I think that's the problem. Was Sutter had that split finger fastball, and that's the only pitch he relied on. And did you know when Sutter was in the minor leagues, he hurt his elbow and he paid for his own surgery? Did you know that? I don't know if you guys knew that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So he pitched over 100 innings 5 times in his career, 6-time All-Star, won the Cy Young in 1979, pitched more than 3 outs most of the time, basically.
That's the thing too. Looking like back then, like these relief pitchers were winning Cy Youngs back in the day. I mean, it's crazy. It's unbelievable.
One last thing about Sutter, he was the first. Oh, 2 last things. He was the first pitcher to enter the Hall of Fame without starting a game, and Game 7 of the World Series, 1982, he pitched 2 perfect innings, and his outs included Paul Molitor, Robin Yount, and Ted Simmons, 3 Hall of Famers. How about that? God. Cardinals won the World Series in '82. Is that incredible or what?
Paul Molitor and Robin Yount, those are 2.
And Ted Simmons, Rich. Ted Simmons, great catcher.
And Ted Simmons, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking about the Hall of Fame, we have some treats coming up, right, Rich? About the Hall of Fame.
That we're going.
Yeah, we're gonna do some live broadcast from there. Trying to do it.
Yes, we are gonna be. We're gonna be heading up to we're gonna be heading up to Cooperstown in a couple weeks and be doing some live stuff up there. We got a lot of stuff we could do now, with this whole live thing.
Wow, we could broadcast from anywhere too. I could be in California. We could. I could be in Thailand, Rich. You could do your remote from Thailand with your friend, right?
Exactly. Hey, listen, Joe. While we got you on, we were gonna do a little basketball, but I don't know how much time you got. But I want to go into Eric. You want to switch it up a little and do some football? What we got, Joe? Because I know Joe doesn't want to talk basketball.
Yeah. So there's one.
Appreciate that, guys. Thanks.
I wanted to bring up 2 things, Rich. One is if the Jets, the Giants, and the Chiefs win tomorrow, the Jets are the number 2 seed in the AFC.
Oh wow,
dude! No. Okay, now I'll take the shot. I'll take the shot in the at the beginning of the football segment here, because I know you guys are not fans of the Jets, but
right.
Listen, I watched the Jets team last night that has a bunch of young kids that are full of piss and vinegar. That Sauce Gardner is a that kid is a fireball, dude. I mean, you got the wide receiver, and listen, Zach Wilson running around like a lunatic, avoiding tackles, throwing the ball. The defense, we got the kid Breece Hall, like literally trucking over people, running, and he's like, man. You also got Michael Carter. We got a football team that they are not. Look, you know how Jet fans, Met fans get. We're winning the World Series. We're winning the Super Bowl. But again, you know what though? I was happy to watch relevant baseball in October. I'll be happy. I'll be happy in November if I'm like, holy shit, maybe the Jets could be a wild card. or maybe the
Right.
Jets
Yeah.
did something a little better. Zach Wilson, I mean, he's back now, and I don't know. People want to give up on him. Like I was one of the few people that said, we got to give this guy a shot, and it's like, I'm giving him a shot, and he seems to be doing okay, you know. But listen, you're right. The Jets could be in a predicament where they could be in first place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's great.
And also the Carolina Panthers are shopping Christian McCaffrey. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Crazy, right?
Now, think about a guy like Christian McCaffrey. Like, where would there be? What do you think a good landing spot for a guy like him would be? Because he would turn an offense around. Like if you have a pretty good offense, I mean, a guy like him would turn an offense around. I would think, right?
I would think so. How about the Eagles?
Oh my God, dude! Listen, the Eagles already have their running back already plays quarterback.
That's true.
That kid's amazing.
Yeah.
The kid's got
It's
6
interesting,
touchdowns.
right?
That kid's got 6 rushing touchdowns. Hurts.
Crazy.
I know
Yeah.
Joe, how much Joe likes to hear about how good the. You know why don't we start off with that? How surprising this year is it that the 5-0 Eagles, the 4-1 Cowboys, and the 4-1 New York Giants. Joe.
Crazy.
My God!
I want to hear. Listen, there's a whole bunch of things that could be that are really going really good for the Giants right now. What do you, as a huge Giant fan, think, Joe? What the single thing that you're noticing that has changed about the New York Giants?
I tell you what, I usually hate being wrong, but in this case, I love it. But it's a combination, just a sheer competency on the part of the coaches and the players. Those teams, they've never shown up to a game where they're unprepared. All right, and obviously there have been times that maybe got pushed around in a series or whatever, but they always had an answer. They always responded. Just very, very well coached. So I think just off the bat, you see that right away. And similar to the Jets too. There's an intensity. These guys come to play, and they play pissed off. And I mean that game in London last week, that was a treat. That was great to wake up to. My birthday was this past week too, so nice little gift.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But that game was reminiscent of the Tom Coughlin era, where just going into a hostile environment, game that you're not supposed to win, people count you out, and you show up and you deliver a classic. So I would just say it's a combination of just competency, and also too is the coaching staff realizing the players that they have and actually tailoring their playbook and their play calling to what they have versus trying to impose a system. Because usually a new guy comes in, he's going to try to install his system. You take the losses, but they try to build it up. They're running wildcats, they're running reverses, defense. They're freaking overloading. I never seen the Giants do that before, where they just overload a blitz. They usually play kind of balanced. They're doing all kinds of great shit. So good on them. And,
you know what they're playing? Like I was never. I'm a Jet guy. I'm an AFC guy.
Yeah,
I'm never turning the Giant game on. I'm turning the Giant game on every time I'm not watching the Jets. I'm turning the Giants on, dude. They're a fucking fun team to watch, dude.
Watch it. Yep.
And listen, I'm not going to say I'm not going to say I told you so because I'm not a Giant fan, like I said. But Saquon Barkley's looking pretty damn good, right?
Oh yeah! Oh, that was great last week. I don't know if you heard. He gets hurt. Apparently, he popped his shoulder out. There was some sort of shoulder injury. Normally, they would have sidelined him. He said, fuck this. Pop it back in. I guess they had members of the training staff holding him down, doing what they got to do to put him back in, and then he's running back out and ends up scoring the game-winning touchdown for him. So that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
I saw a different person in him when I was watching, his comeback and how he was rehabbing last year. I saw a different guy when I was watching all this, man. I knew he was going to come back like a ball of fire, man.
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing too. He's like that, and then with Daniel Jones too. I've been pleasantly surprised with him.
Yes.
For the fact that we haven't had a season-ending injury yet, which is great to see. But at the same time, I don't know what they were doing last week. I don't know if they did a kind of a rope-a-dope thing, try to throw the other team off. Because the whole first half, the announcer's saying, "Oh, he's hurt, he's gimpy." They watched him in warm-ups, blah 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 blah. And then the third quarter, he comes out running around like nothing's wrong with him. So again, good on the coach, because if that's what they did, good on the coaching staff for kind of playing that close to the vest and opening up when they need him to. So that's great there.
And listen, you knew going into this season that Daniel Jones wasn't going to be the second coming of Phil Simms or whatever.
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's like
but it's good to see him maintain a football game or actually kind of be involved. He's got he's got 240 yards rushing. I don't know why I know that, but I was looking at rushers before. 240 yards rushing.
240. Well, also to look at the interceptions too. I think he's only got like one pick the whole year. So going back to what I was saying about just being the competency and not making stupid mistakes. So it's a combination. He's not making stupid mistakes, and the plays they're calling aren't putting him in a situation where he's necessarily going to be forced to make a big play like that. You can rely on Saquon, some of the not that they have any big name players, but again, they're the plays that they're making. I love it. Whether it's the bootlegs, the play actions, the sprint outs, the run pass options they're doing, wildcat. They're kind of spreading it out a little bit, so he's not in a situation he's forced to make a play.
Yeah, man. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I said, they're definitely a fun team to watch. You been checking out the Giants or what?
Yeah, I just want to give an update on these games, Rich. I want to give an update. The Mariners are up in the bottom of the 14th inning, 0-0. Yankees
Breaking news.
Guardians. Yeah, we got to give updates
Breaking
on the show,
news.
Rich, right? We got to give updates, right? Yankees and Guardians tied at 2, top of the 5th. And here's the big news, right?
What?
San Diego and the Dodgers in San Diego, a rain delay. It never rains in San Diego. Yeah, so the apocalypse is coming.
It never rains in Southern
California.
California. There's a song about that.
The tarp is on the field. When I went out there in June, I had to make sure that they have a tarp there. I didn't know they had it, but there's a tarp there. Yeah, so the tarp is on the field right now. So that's the latest update on these 3 games, and of course the Phillies beat the Braves. So EDUBBS, MURF and EDUBBS sports update on the 15s, right? Rich, we got to do that. We got to give updates on a live show, right? So
fantastic. Back to football. Real quick,
you give me 22 minutes, I'll give you the world.
Give you the world. 10 wins. Yeah.
Joe. You're a trivia guy, right? Did you see that
comes.
10 wins is going to be a country music station now, or what? Did you see that?
You got my son next to me. He's laughing at that too.
Oh, that's funny.
That's funny. Yeah.
I saw a blurb on that. 10 wins is
Joe,
going country.
I didn't know your son was that. I'm sitting here cursing. I'm sorry.
Believe me, it's nothing he hasn't heard before, so you're fine.
It's that damn HBO, right?
What I was just saying before, like I'm gonna pull. Listen to the stat. Pat Mahomes has thrown 15 touchdowns so far this year and 2 interceptions.
Yeah.
Crazy. How crazy is that?
That's
dude?
crazy.
I think he's the best player in football right now. I think. Who's better? Who's playing at a higher level than him right now?
Maybe Josh Allen. We're gonna see it. We're gonna see it tomorrow. That's gonna be a pay-per-view tomorrow. That's gonna be wonderful.
Okay. No, Mariners hit the ball right to the fence, and Alvarez made the catch. So the game is still going on.
Is that Jay Buhner? God looks like Jay. I thought that was Jay Buhner. Why'd you take Jay Buhner?
Why'd you take it?
All right. So,
who did Jay? For Ken Phelps, right?
We needed Ken Phelps. My people said Ken Phelps.
Remember Ken Phelps? Oh my God, the guy looked like Popeye, right? He was Popeye on the field.
Yeah.
Guy had like 2 home runs.
So, Joe, do you think as a matter, like talking about the Giants here, where do you see them in Week 5? Do you think they might be around for a playoff push, or you think that they're going to fall short? What do you think?
You know what? It's anyone's game. Look at the rest of their schedule, man. They got some very, very winnable games coming up. They got the Texans, the Jags, Seattle, and they play Philly, but they play Philly at the end of the season. Yeah. So you don't know what you get. You might get they play Philly. I think last game of the season, week 18, 17, whatever the hell it is now. But they might be in a situation where Philly might check out that game because they've already got it locked up, and we'll see. I mean, they're definitely overperforming. Coming into the season, the over under was 7.5 wins. That over is looking very, very good now. So we'll wait and see. It's
yes,
Harrison
Bader.
Hey, Bader, my man. All right. Hey, and tell you what, EDUBBS, this is another guy too. We're talking about you look at the opening day roster as opposed to now. If we tell you Harrison Bader, who the hell is this guy? Now he's
Bader. He's a local guy too. He went. He's from the Bronx actually, and he's on the. He's also committed to play on the Israel World Baseball Classic team. So go my fellow Yids.
Wow. They got a good baseball team? Israel's got a good baseball team?
Rich, let me tell you about the Israel baseball team, right? So it was 2017, and they were labeled like the Jamaican bobsled team, basically, going into this tournament. Way. So they knocked off like South Korea. They actually made the finals, Rich. Not the final, but they made like the next round. They advanced they did pretty well, this team. They had, I'm trying to think who they had. They had a bunch of major leaguers on the team. But we could talk about it. I'll do my research on it, Rich. But that's a story. That's going to come up this March, the World Baseball Classic. It's coming back again. But yeah, United States has a pretty stocked team too this year. I think they won it last time. So, but yeah, Harrison Bader, Team Israel, L'chaim. Let's go. Mazel tov.
He hit a home run?
No, he had a single up the middle.
okay.
The ball had eyes, went right up the middle and stuff. So yeah,
right.
Yankees have a runner on, no outs, runner on first. So
you know what? I can listen. It's I can see you Yankee fans are getting a little testy right now. So maybe we'll. What do you think, Eric? You want to go over our picks maybe? And we're about an hour and a half into this. I think we did a good run. We'll get to another 20 minutes. Maybe we'll get our picks out there, and you Yankee fans can go back and watching your Yankees maybe hopefully win or lose, whatever's going on.
The question is, when will this Mariners-Astros game end? Hey, Rich,
yes, exactly.
Cousin Joe, it's funny because Rich and I were on last Saturday, and the Rays and the Guardians game was on. It was going like 16 innings, too, so we're an omen. Major League players, if you want to play on Saturdays, or maybe don't play on Saturdays when MURF and EDUBBS are on, that's the omen we have. It's a curse of the MURF and EDUBBS show. But these games, I'll stay up all night watching these games. I don't care. So,
right.
So
should we have any? All right. So you know what? Though, do we have anything we want to say about the NFL? Joe, you have anything you want to add?
No, it's great. Looking forward to the season, and we got some exciting games coming up. And let's go Jets and Giants. This is the first time, and I can't remember when both New York teams are in it. It's entertaining, it's competitive, and that's a wonderful thing for the city, for the fans. And believe me, even as a Giants fan, I'm still watching the Jets games. I'm excited for their success and everything they're doing. So it's wonderful. And with that said, I'll tell you what, I am going to sign off. I'm going to listen to you guys make your picks, and hopefully we all do better than the first time we talked. Because you go back to that was EDUBBS check it out podcast. I think that's episode 5 or 6. I think all of us got our picks wrong that first time. So I think we've gotten better. We've gotten better, hopefully. But that's it.
We have
but
to have
you guys,
our trivia contest. Rich,
we do.
Joe. Yeah.
Hey, Joe.
Right.
Also, Joe, I want to talk to you about a project off air. I want to do with you with something.
Absolutely.
I want to talk to you about. All right.
Absolutely. You got my number, and we'll be in touch.
All right, dude. Thanks a lot, Joe.
All right, guys.
Our first caller ever, Cousin Joe.
Take care. It's it.
Yeah.
In the anals. All right. Yeah.
We'll send you some. We'll send you some steak knives or something like that from the prize closet. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to getting another stack of flyers from Rich. He dropped some off the other day. So.
All right, Joe. Thanks for supporting us, dude. You can pop in anytime, my friend. You are a friend of the show right now, bro.
Yep. Take care,
I
Joe.
appreciate that.
Thanks a lot, buddy.
Take care.
Yeah, take care.
That's cool,
Rich,
man. We had our first call in, huh?
Isn't that great how that works? Yeah, we had a live. It's great. Anybody can call in and stuff. I actually, when Cousin Joe was talking about the Giants, I actually started posting the link around, hoping more people would join. But it was kind of like a last minute thing tonight. But once people listen to this and say, "Hey, let's call in," it's great. And stuff. It's good banter. Rich, we've already done about like an hour and a half or something like that.
It is. You know what we'll do, Eric? How about this, man? Like I said, I think we did some pretty good content up. But we got about an hour and a half in. You want to just what do you think? We'll go over our picks. You tell me what where we're at, and then let's go over our picks for the week.
So, Rich, we both went 8-8 last week.
So that means I picked up a couple of games on you, right?
Well, no, actually,
not really. No,
we're same. So I am 45-34-1. And you are 38-41-1. So you're 7 games behind me. Home run!
Oh,
2-run homer, Cabrera. Now, Cabrera,
really?
this is Rich. This is what I was saying. Put him up ninth in the lineup. That is the perfect spot for Cabrera. Perfect spot. 2-run home run.
Nice.
Look at that. McKenzie's up to 70 pitches. Listen, 105 mile an hour. Wow, 105 miles an hour, 409 feet. Wow,
nice.
What a shot. What a shot.
Nice.
So, Rich, that's what's live radio, right? We got the game on right in front of me. I'm looking, it's like, holy shit, it's going over the fence. So we got the 2-run homer from Judge and the 2-run homer from Cabrera. Yankees are not going away easily in the night, that's for sure. So,
very good.
But then again, it's only the 5th inning, so there's a long way to go.
All right, dudes, you know what, though? Let's get our picks out of the way there so you can run and watch the Yankee game there.
So we could do NBA next week, Rich.
We got. Listen, it's in the beginning of the NBA. I only got a couple of little stuff here. We can do an NBA show if you even want to. Now we have this live app, dude. You can call me up on a Sunday. We can do a half hour on the NBA if you want.
Yeah, all I can say is, Rich, the Brooklyn Nets, my team, they were in such disarray in this offseason. Hey, I'm sorry, the Cabrera home run hit the stairs, and like nobody looked like they were going after the ball. It's so funny. Imagine if that was Judge's 62nd. But no, but the Nets. Before the season, they do the schedule. They didn't get too many primetime games like the holidays and stuff, but they're the same team with Ben Simmons now. So look at that. Go Nets. But we'll talk about the NBA as the maybe next weekend. We got so much stuff going on with this live podcast and the excitement and everything. But let's look at the NFL, Rich. And so we'll do the picks. And the Amish Outlaw said he likes how we do the picks together, right? Rather than doing it one,
Yes.
then the other one goes down and stuff. So,
Yes.
and I forgot to give a shout out. Thank you to the Amish Outlaw for doing the standings last week.
Yes.
He pulled out his abacus and he did a good job with it. So hats off to the Outlaw. So
That's awesome.
the abacus won't need batteries, that's for sure. But getting to the football games for this week,
Yes.
Rich, we have a couple of buys. So I think
Okay.
we have 1, 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So we only have 14 games this week. There's 4 teams on bye. And whoever's playing fantasy football, make note of that. There's teams on bye this week.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
the first game was a I don't know what to call this game. It was the Commanders 1.5 point favorite over the Bears. That was an awful game, Rich.
I had the Bears, honestly, because I can't stand the Commanders, so I lost.
I had the
one.
Bears too because they were the home team and stuff like that. And look what happened, right?
Yeah, we both lost that one.
So that's a loss for both of us. So I'm going to mark that down here. And then now tomorrow, 1:00, I'll be watching on DirecTV because it's not on in this area. The Tampa Bay. Hold on, Judge. Oh, it's a flyout. So the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Pittsburgh as an 8.5 point favorite. So I'm taking the Buccaneers minus the 8.5.
Nah, I'm taking them too. I'm taking the Buccaneers too, Eric. The Steelers. I thought they had a little bit of fight in them left, but they suck. And Minka Fitzpatrick's out too. He's not even playing. So Bucks are going to kill the Steelers.
Yeah, hopefully Minka comes back next week. They play the Dolphins, and that's the team he originally played for. But Rich, do you ever remember a Steelers team this bad?
No,
I don't know.
No,
you look at this. They've only had 3 coaches the past. They've had the most consistency of any franchise in sports, I think, only having 3 coaches in the last 50 years. I mean, Tomlin, we had the Jaw, and then you had Chuck Noll. So you had the 3. That's it, just 3 coaches. It's amazing.
I mean, it's good to have some continuity, but I've never seen a Steelers team in this much of disarray. They looked horrible.
Rich, they might be the worst team in the NFL. It's hard to imagine.
They might be. They might be. And my buddy said that the other day. They might be the worst team in the NFL right now.
And I know there's some good quarterbacks coming out in the draft next year. So, but still, I mean, I still don't remember a Steelers team that bad. unless
one of them is a 22-year-old Ben Roethlisberger. I don't know what's going to happen with them.
And not only that, when was the last time a team went into Pittsburgh as an 8.5 point favorite?
I know. They're gonna kill him, dude.
And Rich, I'm just so happy that Tom Brady is only 7 hours away from me right now in a hotel, getting ready to smash the Steelers tomorrow.
Oh man! Or smash his head against the wall because his ex-wife is probably screaming at him on the phone, calling him a piece of shit right now. And he's probably smashing his head on the wall.
It's funny because we won the game last week. He rebounded nicely. It looked like it didn't even bother him. Did you see the roughing the passer call, Rich, on that play?
I did. $11,000.
Really amazing, right? What is that?
Yeah, they're fining him $11,000.
But Rich, that's like me and you getting fined $10, right?
I know, but it's so stupid though. That's
it is stupid. I understand the money goes towards charity, which is a good thing, but still, it's dumb. And the whole divorce thing, because Brady loves football so much as a diversion, like we talked about sports being a diversion. So does Brady come back next year? That's the question.
I don't know. I think he might just. I don't know what he's going to do next year. He may. You know what though? If he's so adamant that it's going to break up his marriage, like maybe he will come back next year. You know what I mean? I mean, if it really was football that broke his marriage up, I don't know. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. And and at the end of the day, I really don't even want to know either. They have lives too. You know what I mean?
Of course, and Brady always said he wanted to play till he's 50, right?
Yeah, why not? I don't think I can play football right now when I'm 50. But
no, I could even play football at 20, Rich. Come on.
All right, what's our next game there, partner?
Yeah, moving on. And you know how much I love this is when the Jacksonville Jaguars play the Colts. This game's in Indianapolis, and the Colts are a 2.5 point favorite. And the Jaguars seem to have the Colts number over the past couple of years. So I am going to take the Jaguars plus 2.5 at Indianapolis tomorrow.
I am taking the Indianapolis Colts all day. I don't know. Jacksonville is I'm taking Indianapolis. It's not going to be a big score, but they're definitely going to cover. Indianapolis, Jacksonville. They had a shot last week to show us something. They didn't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know.
So you're not gonna take long blonde hair guy.
No, that kid is so ugly, man. He's a weird
Isn't
looking
he?
kid. He's
He
a
should
weird
just
looking
cut the
kid.
hair. He's got to cut the hair, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, jeez, unreal,
All right, I'm
unreal.
taking Indianapolis.
Okay, got it. And then we have the Bengals, another road favorite, like the Buccaneers. Bengals are 1.5-point favorites going into New Orleans, who seems to be with the injury bug lately, the Saints. And they have this guy, Taysom Hill, who seems to be running the show. Quarterback, receiver, tight end. He scored 3 touchdowns last week. Saints are banged up. I'm taking the Bengals -1.5.
You know what? I think I'm going to take Cincinnati's got to put up a good showing, man. I mean, they're 2-3. Like, they're almost right there. Listen, Lattimore's out. Thomas is out. I mean, Lattimore's big because you got Jamar Chase running around out there. So I'm going with what's the spread again? I'm going with Cincinnati.
It's 1.5. 1.5.
Yeah, it's basically a pick. I'm going with Cincinnati.
Okay. Yep. Just like me. Yep. And then we have they played the New York Giants last week in London, and now they host the New York Jets this week in Lambeau Field. The Green Bay Packers, who lost last week, are 7-point favorites over the Jets. And this one, I'm going to take the New York Jets because the Packers just don't appeal to me this year for some reason. They think they play these close games. It seems. I mean, the Packers might win, but the Jets will cover. I think in this one.
The Jets are going to win this game because of this. They're going to win their game because they run the football. They're going to win the game because they have tough wide receivers. They're going to win the game because they have hard-nosed, I'm going to kick your ass cornerbacks, and they can rush the football. And Zach Wilson is a handsome kid, okay? He's better looking than Aaron Rodgers, okay? That is why the Jets are going to win. And you know what? You're right about this Packers team. I made a big deal about the Packers team in the beginning of the season. Aaron Rodgers hates the wide receivers, dude. I mean, he basically is sitting on the sidelines and rolling his eyes at these kids. Like, he's just like, he doesn't have that veteran guy there.
Devontae Adams, right? He needs Devontae Adams back.
They're in a little bit of disarray. And, and even though I said last week, I am taking the Jets and the Giants till they both lose. I'm riding them both, and I'm still going to keep on riding my Jets. I am taking my Jets this week.
Great. You see, speaking about Devontae Adams, did you see him knock over that camera guy the other night? Did you see that? It's crazy. Crazy.
What's going on with these guys?
He's on my fantasy team too. He's going to get suspended now, probably.
Yeah, he probably is. That's the crazy part. He probably is.
I don't understand these guys, Rich. What's up? What are they thinking sometimes? It's like, I know they want to win the game and stuff, but it's like, don't push a guy to the ground. I mean, thankfully the guy's okay, but you know what, Devontae, you just paid for the guy's kid's college tuition. Basically.
Yeah. I hear you. It's just sometimes like you forget that these guys are humans too, and like and they get shit thrown at them all the time, and listen, you don't condone them going after them, but shit like Malice in the Palace and stuff like that. It's like you forget that these guys. I mean, I understand like who they make all this money, they should be able to take this shit, but you also forget that some of them are actually legitimately crazy too, and they might snap. Yeah. Like Ron Artest was a legit crazy person, and they fucked with them. They hit the wrong button, and it all the Malice at the Palace. So when one of these guys does flip out and throw a punch at a camera guy, or maybe he'll spit on they're human too. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And they have
exactly.
emotions. So
I know. Understood.
Yeah.
Just got to if you're in the public spotlight, sometimes you have to control it. I think So,
yeah.
But Rich, I just want to get to this Yankee game. Severino has settled down nicely. He's gone through 5 innings now. It's 4-2 Yankees. The question is, will Boone let him come out for the 6th inning? I mean, Nestor could have pitched the 6th inning yesterday. I hate you got to get your pitchers. You got to get him at least 18 outs, the starting pitcher in the playoffs. You gotta.
Yeah. You have to. Yeah.
So we shall see. But this Seattle game's still going on. It's crazy. Okay, then in Cleveland, across town tomorrow, you got the Patriots coming to town. The Browns are 2.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Patriots 2 plus 2.5. I think the Patriots come out with a win tomorrow in Cleveland, and the Yankees will come out with a win tomorrow in Cleveland. So, what's your take on the Patriots Browns game, Rich?
I'm taking I'm taking the Browns. Like I said, I've been shitting all over the Browns all year, and I think they're 2-3. Pats are 2-3 because I know they killed the Lions last week. Now your Lions prediction is really going down the tubes because they are like.
Is it? Yeah.
You want to hear something crazy?
Sure
I ran into somebody who is a Detroit Lions fan today.
Wow.
My buddy, one of Jack's friends in school is a Detroit Lions fan. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a Detroit Lions fan. I was like, holy shit, how are you a Detroit Lions fan? I am going
Wow.
with I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. They're going to beat the Patriots. I hate the Patriots, and I just think they're going to lose. So, and I've been shitting on the Browns, so I'm going Browns.
Yeah, it's funny when Ben and I took our baseball trip through Mid America in 2019. We stopped in Detroit not for a game, but I wanted to try out this pizza place, and we actually went to Ford Field and we went inside, and a security guard let me check out the field, not on the field, but it let me check it out. So thank you for the
Nice,
security guard for letting me get in the building. So
nice.
yeah, but being a Lions fan is tough, Rich. God bless that kid, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it is. But my favorite football player of all time comes from Detroit, so it's Barry Sanders.
yeah,
So
oh yeah,
no
yeah,
way.
definitely, definitely. You
Yeah,
remember that game he had against the Jets, Rich? Remember that?
I remember every single game Barry
Didn't
Sanders
he have
played. I
like
really do.
200 yards? And the Buccaneers were in the NFC Central back then. They had the different divisions and stuff like that. And he just ran over the Buccaneers every single game. It's like enough Barry Sanders already, but he retired so young. It's crazy.
He just, he said that he said that he didn't want to be a cripple.
Now, was
That's
it
basically what he
when
said.
it was kind of like when Walter Payton died too, wasn't it? Like,
Mm.
because Walter Payton, he'd want to break a record or something like that, I think, or something. You
Uh,
know?
some of these guys just, some of these guys at some point they're like, I'm just tired beating my body up. Could you
Yep.
imagine? Could you imagine if all those years Barry Sanders ran behind the same line as Emmitt Smith?
Crazy. Oh my God. Yeah. Wow.
Unbelievable.
Well, one thing is in the Yankee game, Tristan McKenzie is out of the game, so the
Jeez.
Guardians are in their bullpen in the sixth inning and stuff.
All right.
So, continuing on with the NFL, we have the Vikings, 4-1 Vikings. Now they're a surprise team too, right?
Yes.
That's crazy,
Yes.
right?
Excuse me. Yes,
Kirk
they're a very
Cousins,
surprising
right?
team. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
mean
yeah,
that
it's
kid that kid Jefferson is a pro, dude. He is
oh, oh,
God. He's a good football player.
oh, he's one of the best. And Kirk Cousins loves these 1 o'clock games. So tomorrow, 1 o'clock, the Vikings head down to Miami, and Minnesota's a 3-point favorite. And I'm going with Minnesota because I don't know who's going to quarterback the Dolphins tomorrow.
Oh yeah, I don't even know. What was the guy's name last week?
Oh, I
God,
forget, but that's a Sauce drilled Bridgewater, right? Now that guy came in,
God,
right?
smashed
I
him.
want to know who's the Dolphins' backup quarterback for right? We can't even name the starting quarterback. Who the hell's the backup quarterback? Dan Marino or something?
You know what? I'm actually gonna go. Actually gonna go again. I was gonna go against you on this.
Oh
And
wow.
I think I am. I'm gonna
Okay.
take Miami. I think Miami's gonna run tomorrow. I think
Oh,
Miami's gonna do some running with that running back there. I forgot his name. It escapes me
yeah,
right
they
now.
got a couple of guys.
Yeah.
Mostert, is it?
Yes.
And
Yeah. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Monster.
So yeah, from the 49ers. Yep.
I think he may have a pretty good day tomorrow. I think Miami's gonna eke it out tomorrow.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. Maybe it's the heat will get to the Vikings.
You
It's
never
always
know.
humid down there in Miami and stuff. And then we have close to home tomorrow, the Ravens coming to town. They're 6-point favorites over the Giants, and it's a little too high for me. 6 points. I'm taking the Giants in this one.
I'm riding the Giants till the cows come home, dude. I love watching the Giants play this year, man. I'm taking the Giants again. I'm taking the Giants all day. They're 4-1. They'll be 5-1 tomorrow. And the Ravens are good, but they're not. The Giants are going to win tomorrow. Saquon's going to have a big day tomorrow.
Great. Yeah, exactly. Coming off the big win against the Packers last week.
Yeah,
You think
man.
the travel affects these guys though, Rich? I mean, they were in London last week and they come back. They usually had a
I don't
bye,
know.
some of these teams that did the London game and stuff. I don't know how that affects the teams playing the
I
next
don't
week.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know how much that would really affect. I don't know. That's a good question, because it is a week off. They have a week off, but I don't know. That's a good question.
I think a West Coast team would have it worse though. Like if the Raiders go into, or I'm
Oh
sorry,
yeah.
the Chargers go into London and coming back to play the next week. I think they would put a team like that on the bye. But
Oh
we'll
yeah.
see what
Absolutely.
happens tomorrow to the Giants. I mean, they're playing some good ball. Cousin Joe's excited about them and stuff, and we'll see how they play and stuff. So
Yep.
I guess we both got the Giants on that one, and then we have the 49ers coming across country again. I think they played Carolina last week, so they're playing the Atlanta Falcons this week, and they're 5.5-point favorites in Atlanta. Atlanta coming off that loss to Tampa Bay this past weekend. I'm going to take the 49ers minus 5.5.
I am taking the Atlanta Falcons. They're playing a lot better than I thought they would play this year. I actually thought they were going to be 0-17 this year. I literally did. But they're playing a lot better, and they covered for me last week. So I'm taking the Falcons this week.
Yeah, if the Falcons would have beat the Buccaneers last week, they would have been in first place. You believe that, Rich?
Yeah, that's nuts, man. That's nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Continuing along, Carolina Panthers going out to the West Coast to play the Rams, and the Rams haven't been good this year. They are 10-point favorites, but Carolina just fired their coach this week, and who knows what happens with this new guy that's in there, interim coach. So usually they say the players rise to the top when a new coach starts, but they're just bad, the Panthers. So I'm going to take the Rams -10.
Yeah, I'm taking the Panthers +10. I think they're going to have a fuck you game this week because they're talking about all the shit they're talking about. They're getting rid of this guy. I think they're going to come out there. They're going to have an FU game this week. I'm taking the Panthers +10.
Okay, there you go. And next game is Rich. I wish Ben was here. I would have had him pull in. He's still working though.
Yeah.
He works late on. They do a lot of games at the Rec on Saturdays. But Geno Smith, he scored 100. Ben scored like almost 200 points against you in fantasy last week, correct?
Yeah, he kicked my ass last week. Yeah.
So Ben, I forgot who Ben had at quarterback, but he picked Geno Smith off waivers, and the guy's getting like 40, 50 points a week. It's ridiculous and stuff where this guy's coming from, you know. But it's funny because they host the Cardinals tomorrow. Arizona comes to Seattle as 2.5-point favorites, but I'm taking Seattle +2.5. I think Seattle is a better team than most people think.
All right. I am going to take I have the Cardinals circled here, but I'm thinking about it. I'm going Cardinals. I'm going with my original thought. I know Connor's out. Murray's going to have a good game. Geno Smith can't keep this up, dude. I'm sorry. He's an ex-Jet. He can't keep this up.
That's crazy, right?
I'm going with the 2 and 3 Cardinals.
Well, he don't forget, he has Lockett and DJ Metcalf. He's got 2 good receivers, so it's not chopped liver. You could throw the ball, get the ball to these guys. I guess you could have a good season after all, right? But we shall see. There's still, what are we, in week 6? There's still 10 weeks left or 11 weeks left or something in the NFL. Yeah, so anything could happen. And here's the game of the day, and this is not a primetime game. Buffalo Bills going to Kansas City. Now, Buffalo, last week I was like, these 14-point favorites, it's too much. I'm going to take the Steelers plus the 14, not to beat Buffalo, but it's crazy how the Bills came out last week. And did you see that 98-yard pass to Davis? Now, it's so funny. I have Davis on my work football team, my fantasy, and I have Davis on my fantasy team in your league, and I benched him in our league, Rich, but I still managed to win. But if I had Davis, I would have got 200 points as well, as Ben almost got. But yeah, so hats off to the Weisfeld boys for rolling up the points in fantasy football. But back to reality, though, I'm going to take the Bills. I think Buffalo's going to Kansas City and win this game. It's an AFC championship preview, and the Bills will win this week. 2.5 points. Bills -2.5. Yep.
Dude, Travis Kelce had 4 touchdowns last week. Dude.
Yeah, he sure did. Against who? Against who, though?
I understand that, but still 4 touchdowns in professional in an NFL football game.
Sick, right?
Pat Mahomes, as I've said numerous times, in my opinion, he's the best. He's the best athlete/football player in the NFL right now. Mm-hmm. I think that it's going to be a great game to watch. And the only reason why that's not a primetime game is because the other game is a primetime game too, the Cowboys and the Eagles. So I mean,
wait till you hear the Monday night. Yeah, wait till you hear the Monday night game, Rich.
I know. I'm going. I'm going with the Chiefs, man. I'm riding with Mahomes, man. I love Pat Mahomes, dude. Love him.
Going with the Chiefs. The home Chiefs. Yeah, weird that the Chiefs are underdogs at home, right? It's crazy, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, Allen's playing out of his mind. That's
Josh Allen. Yeah, exactly. And next game in the NFC East, the Eagles, undefeated Eagles at home, trying to do a carbon copy of their across the street team, the Phillies, winning. So the Eagles 6.5-point favorites, and I am going to take the Eagles. Did I say the Phillies? I meant the Eagles 6.5-point favorites. I'm going to take the Eagles in this one to beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, you're going to take the Eagles. I've been riding the Eagles all year, but I do not think that the Eagles, under any stretch, are an undefeated football team this year. They're not going. And I think that this is a perfectly set up game for them to say, do we really need Dak Prescott? Not that do we really need him? Can we let him sit out for one more week? Or I think the Cowboys are going to pull this out because the Eagles. Listen, last week's game was a pretty good game. The Eagles aren't really setting the world on fire. They're playing well. I mean, they're a good football team. Don't get me wrong. They're not blowing everybody out, and they're not scoring like 100 points. So I think this game is set up perfectly for the Cowboys to tie up the Eagles. I think that they're. I got the Cowboys this week. Cowboys are going to win the game.
Wow, and usually when this happens, Rich, the 72 Dolphins pop that champagne, right? Because they were the
Yeah,
last undefeated team. You remember, like
yeah,
every year, and then unfortunately, I mean, with time they start dying, and Shula died recently and stuff. So,
yeah,
but the few ones left, they always pop that champagne when
yeah.
the last undefeated team loses that first game and stuff. So you think it happens tomorrow, Rich?
I think so. I definitely
Tomorrow
think
night,
it.
actually. That's a night game tomorrow. So, yeah. And,
Yeah, tomorrow night. Tomorrow night.
it's funny because the Yankees will be on against this game. Who do you think gets better ratings, Rich? Yankees, Guardians, or Eagles, Cowboys? That's a good question,
Ooh,
right?
that's a good question, dude. I don't know. No, I,
Yeah.
I, I bet Cowboys Eagles gets a better rating.
You think so, Rich, over
I do.
Yankees?
I do. I
Wow.
do. I
Wow.
do. They're
Wow.
playing first off, they're playing Cleveland. It's the
Hmm.
first round of playoffs, and everybody in New York's going to watch it. But I
Hmm.
think Dallas is the most watched franchise out of any team.
Hmm.
Most followed, most watched. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like Dallas is just one of those teams, and it's Dallas Eagles rivalry game. The Giants are still playing good. You
Hmm.
know what? That's an interesting question. I think that they're going to get a bigger number than the Yankees, but maybe we should look into that.
Here's a good question. I was talking to Ben before, and Ben goes, "How come the Yankees don't play any afternoon playoff games?" I said, "Well, he said they did yesterday." I said, "Well, yesterday was a rain out, so they had to kind of like fit that game in because today they had to go to Cleveland to play tonight. But
Right.
the Yankees never play, and the Mets, for instance, didn't play a day game last week either because the New York teams always want to be in the prime time, especially the Yankees. Do you remember when the Yankees played a day game last time in the playoffs?
No,
Right?
no,
Right?
I don't
Crazy.
remember. It's a long time ago.
It's crazy.
Long
Yeah,
time
Ben
ago.
asked me how come I said that's why, because the Yankees sell. So that's why I'm thinking the Yankees just might. I can't wait to see the ratings on this. I'm sure somebody will be
Yeah.
talking about the ratings and stuff.
Yeah,
So.
I think we should check that out. That's a good question. I think we should check that out.
Now, if the Yankees and Guardians play Monday, we
Oh,
know they will overshadow this game.
God.
The Chargers at home against, once again, Rich, guess who they're playing?
I can't believe this team is terrible. Denver
What
is
is the
terrible.
somebody in marketing in the NFL has to get fired because of this, right?
Why are they putting them on prime time all the time?
It's horrible,
Why?
Right? This is like
That's
the
a
fourth.
fucking terrible football game.
Rich, this is like the fourth time in 6 weeks they've been on prime time, right?
Oh my God! Can he switch the Chiefs and the Bills to Monday night?
Well, isn't it good though during the I think they're going to flex Monday night games as the season progresses too. You know how
All
they do
right.
Sunday nights sometimes, but they're going to flex the Monday night games too. I heard. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know what? I think the Broncos are on one more time after this. Believe it or
Oh
not.
my Lord!
Oh my goodness!
It's brutal
You know what,
watching it.
We're talking about this now, but in 15 weeks, they're going to probably be playing for the Super Bowl. Imagine that, Rich.
Yeah,
we see the Broncos and we say, why are they playing the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, right?
Broncos are 14-3. They've won by like 1 or 2 points by like 12-9. Like
Yeah,
every freaking
11
game.
to 10.
And they're in this
12
fucking
to-
Super Bowl.
Oh, my God. Can you imagine that? Well, anyhow, they go to, I was going to say San Diego, but Los Angeles to play the Chargers. The Chargers are 4.5-point favorites, and I'm taking the Chargers in this game.
I'm
But
taking it.
the Broncos might keep it close. You never know, right?
Yeah. You know what? What's the point spread?
It's 4.5 Chargers
4.5?
favored by,
I'm
yeah.
taking the Chargers. The Chargers are going to win 15-10. I'm taking the Chargers, dude.
It's one of those. The Chargers are going to win like 8-3, right? God.
It's definitely not the second coming of Peyton Manning in Denver.
But the Chargers haven't been playing that well either this year. Rich, didn't you say they're going to the Super Bowl or they're going to go right? Right?
I said the Chargers were going to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I
don't know.
like I said, it's week 6 and there's still 11 weeks yet left, and this Seattle Houston game will still be on in 11 weeks.
It's the 6. I just turned around. It's the 16th inning.
But it looks like Houston's rallying now. They have 2 men on base and stuff. But
Eric, think about this, Eric. This game was about to be over, and we started our podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Rich, this game started at 4:37. What time is it now?
Lord.
9:35. Yeah.
Wow, dude.
Yeah. Crazy, right?
All right, dude. Well, listen.
So one more thing, Rich.
Yeah, man.
Severino, just stay with me. 1 out. He's got 1 and 2 strikes, 1 and 2 counts here. He's pitching to Jimenez. So just 1 second. These Mets guys on the Guardians killed the Yankees yesterday, but look at this. Look at this. IKF to first base. Oh! Rizzo had his foot off the bag. But, Rich, he settled down nicely, Severino. He's thrown 102 pitches.
This is great.
He's thrown 102 pitches.
All right.
He settled down after the first inning. And Aaron Boone said that's for the 6th inning. So, the Yankees are calling a replay on this. Just, Rich, 1 second. We can't go off the air yet.
I will hang on to
Are
you.
you
1 minute.
watching? Are you watching? Here's
No, I'm
IKF,
not.
fields the ball. Okay, he throws it to first base. And Rizzo, oh, that's close. I think they're going to.
They overturn it.
Oh, no, I think
Ooh.
he's safe. I think he's safe.
All
Let's
right.
just one more shot. He's safe. Yeah. So, but Severino, hats off to him. He settled down nicely, and it's the 6th inning. I'm going to go watch the 7th, 8th, and 9th, Rich, and hopefully I can have a good evening on this Saturday.
Yeah, man. Like I said, this I'm gonna probably I'm gonna this is gonna go into a podcast. I'm gonna work on that tomorrow. We knocked out a good live show tonight. Hopefully, we'll get the word out there. But Eric, this is what we're gonna be doing from now on, dude. We're gonna use this app, man. I like it. People can call in. We'll get the word out there more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just want to thank cousin Joe for calling in and stuff. Our first caller, a pioneer of our live show, and yeah, it was great, Rich. I enjoyed this a lot. It was free flowing too, and having guests call in and talk, and it's going to be nice. I think going forward, it's a good option, very good option. Yep.
All right, my friend. Listen, you enjoy the rest of the Yankee game there, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of this Mariner game here. So
yeah, I got both games on. Yep, exactly.
All right, my friend. Like I said, I will talk to. I'll talk to you. You know, the next day or two. We're probably gonna do another show in the next couple of days. So we're gonna get more content out there with this live app now. So, all right, my friend. So as I always say, guys, later.
Peace out, everyone. Thanks for listening, and keep sharing, liking, and getting the word around town.
That's the one thing too with this pod being out. Make sure you guys follow the show. Make sure you follow. That's how we get our numbers up, and that's how you guys could chime in on this live stuff. So. All right, guys. Thanks a lot. And you guys have a good night.
Take care, Murph.
Later, Eric.
Okay, bye-bye.